UIC. Freedom the people of Hell yeah. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree on a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree on a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. The one that free up the people, levitate. Jamaica member, you ever great. I feel burn up the fire upon every snake. Me give thanks in every way. God still a look down once see we safe. I see around the road long time. GLP and PMP I sell we out. Still I do the test even though we know the end result. If them coulda kill with them catch we and hang we know. No force no coercion, me freedom in a step. No one fi rob we and kill we and feel them and go make it out. You know see the leeches, you know see the angel the devil when sleep with. You know see the leeches, you know see the angel the devil when sleep with. Yeah, real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree on a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree on a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Yeah, me drop the braffin now, and then I laughing now. What them talking about? Everything cement and we not talking growth. Jamaican intellectuals are marching now. Them couldn't get the last laugh, no them laughing loud. We don't need the small talk when we talking, bro. We don't need them.
Hello, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of UIC Liberty TV Live. This is Joseph Patterson, President of the UIC, and today I want to talk to you about the UIC's 10-point plan. I want to talk about that especially in the context of the upcoming local government elections, which are constitutionally due by the 28th of February 2022. So just around the corner. As you know, the UIC is busy. We are very, very busy. Later today, we have a big meeting with all of our approved candidates, and we're still working on filling out all of the slots for the next local government and general elections. As you know, we need 228 councillor candidates for the local government election, and we need 63 candidates for the general election. Many of us, including myself, will be contesting the local government elections, and some of us will also be contesting the general elections when that come up. It is time, my friends. The time has come for us to change the trajectory for Jamaica. The time has come for us to create a real new Jamaica, and I am totally dependent on you. We are totally dependent on you. We are dependent on each other to create that new Jamaica. So welcome. Thanks to all of you who are on the live right now. I look forward to taking questions from you as well. We're going to talk about the 10-point plan, beginning with our Yes Jamaica program, which is to help our young people to be able to find jobs or to create their own jobs. So you're going to learn more about that today. So good afternoon and welcome to all of you who are here. I want to take as many questions as I can. We only have 60 minutes, and so far we have taken about 5 out of it. So in the next 55 minutes, let's see if we can get through all 10 points that the UIC will be pushing in the upcoming local government elections and also when we participate in the general. And believe you me, we intend to win them both. I think all of us, every single Jamaican, is fed up and tired of the system that we have right now. We're fed up and we're tired of the leadership that we have. We're fed up and we're tired of our country always being some kind of football for the foreign masters. They get to impose their will upon us, and we have some lucky politicians, some lucky leaders who they seem to be just puppets and parrots for other people's agenda. It is time for us to have the people's agenda, the Jamaican people's agenda. And it's very simple. We want some very basic things. We want crime under control. We want a safe Jamaica. We want a clean Jamaica. We want an orderly Jamaica. We want a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. And that's what the UIC is all about. So let's jump into it. You have seen on our website, you have seen all over Facebook, the UIC talking about its 10-point plan to create a real new Jamaica. So UIC is for you. You are the most important element of this. The UIC exists for one purpose and one purpose only, and it is to satisfy the dreams and aspirations of the Jamaican people. So once again, welcome to today's edition of UIC Liberty TV, and we are going to talk about the 10-point plan of the UIC. So I should begin by saying something very, very basic, which you all know. Our vision, the UIC's vision, our vision is a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. And our mission is to create a non-partisan constitutional republic that will fully protect the sovereignty of every Jamaican citizen equally. At the core, at our very core, we value individual liberty and personal responsibility above everything else. And our primary objectives are to ensure every citizen, every single Jamaican citizen, can enjoy a safe, clean, and orderly society where all are truly free, and where all can live, earn, and retire with dignity in their own country. There's so many of you right now in the diaspora who wish you could come home today, but you're afraid. You want to come home to your own country, but you want to be in a safe environment. You want to be in a clean environment. You want to be in an orderly environment. You also want to be free. You don't want to be a slave of anybody. You don't want nobody deciding what they should put into your body. You want to be free to enjoy your life, your liberty, and your property, free from all coercion or force, whether it be by elected criminals or unelected criminals. So the UIC is here to provide you with that. And we can't do it without you. As you know, we're funded by you, the people. We're not funded by big business. It's the small donors like yourself that make it work. So let's talk about the 10 things that we're going to do as a political movement, as a political party, the 10 things that we're going to do to create the kind of Jamaica that you need in order to enjoy your life, your liberty, and your property. The first thing we're going to do is very basic and should have been done a long time ago, and is a key part of why we have the crime problem, right? So the first thing we're going to do in government is to establish a youth employment solution program. We call it YES, a youth employment solution program. This program is going to ensure that every single high school graduate who does not go into university are employed as an apprentice where they can gain valuable on-the-job experience and develop good work ethics. This is very important. Right now, the vast majority of our graduates come out of school and they can't find any work for a number of reasons. Many of them do not have the kind of skills or attitude or work ethics which will make them easily employable. Many of them are not at the stage where they can add enough value to the company for the cost of hiring them. And so the UIC understands these issues, these limitations, And so we're committed to creating an environment where all of these graduates that are not going on to university, every single one of them, can get full employment as an apprentice and learn the valuable skills that they need, earn some money in the process, and develop the kind of work ethics which is necessary if they're going to go further and become a highly productive and effective member of society. So that's number one. We have to make sure we take care of the children and get them off the street, wasting time and wasting away. We have to solve that problem right now. So when they become a part of the Youth Employment Solution program that the UIC will put in place, they're going to remain in this program and transition to a regular full-time job or into some form of entrepreneurship activity. So the program is designed both to provide employment and work experience, but also to help with the transition now into a regular full-time job or into an entrepreneurship activity, whether they're going to be starting their own incubator business or they're going to join with another entrepreneur that already exists, partner with somebody. We're going to help them with that transition to make sure that they move from high school to being highly productive. Secondarily, by taking the young people into this program, we're going to be starving the gangs. So the gangs won't have any more freshly minted young people coming out of school ready to be grafted in, because we're going to occupy them and give them a means of earning an income without joining the gang. This will help to reduce the crime and violence we see in our society. There are many areas where we can absorb all of these young people. There's, for example, ambulance service, firefighting, military, agriculture, police. Many private establishments would love to have the help of some young persons who they're helping to mentor and train, but it's in a structured and organized program that minimizes the risk to them and allow them to bring in these young people and get them to upgrade their skills or learn new skills or develop the kind of work ethics which will make them very, very productive for any form of employment or entrepreneurship activity they may take up. While they're in this program, we're going to ensure that they all get a chance to develop financial literacy. One of the key reasons why we have so many problems in the economy is because the vast majority of us were not taught how money works, how economics really works. And because of that, we make very poor decisions and we're manipulated by unscrupulous politicians and business people. So I want to make sure that we use this opportunity to make these new graduates become financially literate. They're already at the end of their school years, their high school years, so we're playing catch up, with things that should have been done. Of course, we're going to change the curriculum, change the whole structure so that these things are done earlier and that they come out of high school ready for the world of work or to go on to university. But for now, we have to bridge them. So that's why we have this program here called the Youth Employment Solution. Let me see if we have any questions on that so far. So I don't see any questions on that as yet. Somebody says, as much as I would want to see the UIC assume government, I strongly doubt it will come to fruition based on how partisan and illiterate the majority of our population are. I would not say that sports fanatic. I think that we need to be positive. We need to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to overcome the problem that you have identified. Yes, there are many persons who are partisan. Yes, there are many people who are illiterate, but even illiterate and partisan people have sense. And right now, many Jamaicans who you may call illiterate or you may call them partisan, many of them now realize that they need a change and that this is the time to do it because they cannot trust those who have led us for the last 77 years And so they have to change. Lion is saying we have to make this happen and stay positive. Exactly. We need to do that. Good evening to you, Michael Mitchell. Thank you for the shout out. The question from Annalisa, will you implement a system in the schools where the children from an early age take one day to assemble things and being creative from an early age? Absolutely, Annalisa. That's very important for us to change the model of our schooling to one where when you graduate, you actually graduate with the competences necessary to be highly productive. What we have now is a system that does not achieve that. So we have to fix that. Sidoni Williams says, so true. Things can turn around with time and the plan the UIC wants to implement in our country. Excellent. Let's now move on to the point number 2. Point number 2 is very important. Again, it helps to address the serious problem of crime and violence in Jamaica. So point number 2, we're going to create a modern police service. This is very important. We have to move away from what we currently have, the police force, and we have to create a police service. This is key. It's very important that we have such a service in place. We also have the national defense, or what we call the army. We're going to call that the National Defense Service. We have to reorient the police and the army to make sure that they realize who they're really here to fight for. They're here to fight for the citizens of Jamaica. They're here to respect the citizens of Jamaica. They're here to protect the borders of Jamaica. They're here to provide us with peace of mind and not to be disrespectful and not to treat us as if we are the enemies. The people of Jamaica must never be regarded as the enemy. And so the police and the soldiers must know that they're working for the people. They're not working for the politician. They're working for the people. And so we want to have laws in place and structures in place and training in place that brings our police to a proper understanding of the law and have proper and objective laws, and then provide these police and soldiers with the kind of training, the tools, and the compensation that they need to be effective. They have to effectively protect the life, the liberty, and the property rights of every citizen and do so equally. But for them to do that, the laws must be very clear, the laws must be very objective, and the terms of reference under which they operate must be very specific to the fact that the police and the army exist to protect every single individual citizen. They're there to serve and protect, to respect, to serve and protect, to respect, to serve and protect. And so the days where the police mistreat citizens, abuse citizens, disrespect citizens, those days need to be behind us quickly. And the UIC government is going to see that. Those police officers who need significant rehabilitation will get it, because we cannot afford to have a situation where the people are afraid of their police or afraid of the soldiers. And when it comes on to the soldiers, we want to make sure that we turn that into a significant border control element of managing our society. For example, if guns and ammunition can't come into the country, then the criminals can't get them, right? So if we want to address the crime problem, a big part of that is to make sure that we have addressed the border control. How are guns and ammunition, illegal guns and ammunition coming into the country? Let's solve that problem. Let's lock off the supply. And if you lock off the supply, then you begin to prevent the deaths caused by shooting. Okay? Then we also have to make sure that we come from the top down when it comes on to corruption, because it's really corruption which drives much of the other problem that we have. So we have to eliminate that corruption at the top level from the Prime Minister's office all the way down. Find out where in these pockets, whichever ministry, whichever minister, whichever um, authority figure in any particular position that is carrying out the corrupt activities. Let's focus in there. Let the police focus in on investigating the people who are in authority, the people who are wearing the jacket and the ties, the people who are sitting in the boardrooms. Let's go after them first. And if we catch them, then they don't have the wherewithal to provide the means for the puppets that they use at the bottom, and they can't supply them and they can't protect them. So cut off the supply. Cut off the supply of guns. Cut off the supply of protection from corrupt persons in authority, and you begin to significantly reduce the crime problem. And then make sure that we have trained our police and soldiers properly, that we have equipped them properly, and that we're compensating them at a level that allows them to operate as professionals. So it means we're going to have to increase the salary of the police, and we have to hire and keep only the best police. So we want people who are qualified, people who are qualified and competent to be in our police service. We need to elevate the police to a level, a level where they're respected by society, they're highly paid, they're highly trained, and they're bright people. If you have dunce people in position of authority, they'll do horrible things. So make sure we don't have dunce people in very good positions in our police service. Make sure we have high quality persons that can do the job, that are mentally prepared to do the job, that are psychologically prepared to do the job, that are academically skilled to be able to understand, interpret, and carry out the responsibilities appropriately. Yeah. So we have to invest in effective training, invest in the tools, and make sure we change the mindset from police force to police service. We also have to improve the working conditions of the police. Many of these police stations, it's like a garbage can. It's a horrible place to work in. And if you have your police working and in horrible conditions and driving old dilapidated vehicles and having poor salaries, what you expect? You're going to get a highly corrupt police force. And when, of course, you have a corrupt political structure in the first place, then those corrupt politicians, together with those corrupt business leaders, join together and create and maintain a corrupt police service and a corrupt um, infrastructure, right? So let's work on that. So that's number two. We're going to have a modern police service and a modern national defense service that treats our citizens with respect and protect our borders and provide our police and soldiers with the training, the tools, and the compensation they need to effectively protect the life, the liberty, and property rights of all Jamaicans. So that is key, right? Somebody else is saying here, the UIC needs strong private security to do so because of the gunmans. Yeah, we know that, and we're beefing up our security around all of our leaders and so on. Somebody here says, but the Dons secured votes and they benefit by the MPs giving them access. Absolutely, and we're going to cut all of that out. Daniel said if they have to run bars in police stations, what kind of system you expect? Exactly, Daniel. So we have to attack all of these things. Somebody says, what is your qualification? Because you say you are independent. How is the people in charge if you come into government? Poco, I'm not sure what you mean, but what is my qualifications? Well, I studied engineering at UTech. I studied accounting at University of Calgary. I am a chartered professional accountant, and I have over 25 years experience in business, finance, and leadership. I've sat on a number of boards, one of the latest being the international board in the Netherlands, where I oversaw a budget of over $146 billion, particularly geared towards helping low-income families in about 75 countries through financial inclusion, alternative energy, and similar projects that we use to help to improve the lives of people. Lion says, No more dons in Jamaica. Absolutely. Sophia says, loving the highlights of the police. They certainly need better pay and training. Absolutely. Marvin Johnson, how would you deal with public sector salaries, nurses, teachers, and not just police officers? Very good question, Marvin. Give me a few minutes and we'll get down to what's happening with the teachers. So great. Somebody says UIC dons will have to go find a job like everyone else. Lion, the UIC doesn't have any dons. If we had dons, then we wouldn't be different from the other parties. Lion says no more rum bars in the police. Absolutely. Uh, Last question here before I jump back to the points, to point number 3. Ridim Life says, how will you avoid bowing to foreign masters? Very good question. I have a long answer for that. Hope I can get to it later. The key thing is to make sure Jamaica becomes self-sufficient. That's why we have a program to make us water, food, and energy secure. If we get to that stage, those 3 elements, it will significantly protect us from foreign interests manipulating our government. So that's a key part. Thanks for asking. Let's now switch back to the. So we've done point number 1, which is the youth employment solution. Point number 2, which is a modern police service and national defense. And point number 3 is very, very important. It's a key part of our policy and program. We're going to ensure that every single child receives the nutrition, the education, and the health care that they need to succeed. This is very important. We have to understand how brutally important it is that we build our human capital and stop leaving our people to languish in poverty, in ignorance, and just left out in the cold. We have to fix that. So the UIC, this is probably my signature program and policy. It is to ensure that every child, nutrition is key. If you're not eating properly, the brain can't develop properly. You can't learn properly. Yeah. So every child must receive proper nutrition, a very high quality education, every child. So we're going to make sure we have high quality teachers, high quality education, very good healthcare, that they can succeed. To do this, we have to provide the opportunities for teachers, for nurses, for doctors to be highly paid so that they can afford the quality of life that they deserve. If we treat our teachers well, if we treat our healthcare professionals well, and we have clear, efficient policies that are well designed for students, for our children, then we can bring up human capital of our citizens, right? So if we're focused on every child from birth through to adulthood, that they're getting the food that they need, getting the education, that they're healthy, that they're protected from predators, right? We're going to really focus in on what is the home life like, what is going on here, and make sure our children and our parents are supported, and make sure our teachers and their healthcare professionals are in a position to again become the guardians of our community, the guardians of our children. Yeah, paying attention to the needs of our communities and our society. So every child must be accounted for. Every child must be protected. So we're going, you see, like how the Prime Minister is laser focused on getting us juked. We're going to be laser focused on getting our children properly nourished, properly educated, well cared for, and that our teachers and nurses and doctors are well paid and held accountable for their role. We're also going to hold parents accountable. We're going to make sure the parents feel accountable by the way we design the system. And we're going to support the parents. We're going to make sure that they're supported in their role as parents. They take their role seriously. They're held accountable, but they're fully supported by the government to honor that responsibility as parents. Let's be honest. Many of our parents were not prepared to be parents, right? They were not trained. Our school system was not designed to train our parents to be parents. So many of us who became parents became so without the requisite competencies and skills required to be parents. So we, as a government, a UIC government, will begin to address that by having effective parental education, bringing our parents back up to, or helping them to come up to the standards that they need to be, so that our parents can become a partner in building our children and building our human capital. Yeah. So yes, I see that question as well, Poco. More compassion as well in nurses and teachers. Yes, we need to get back the spirit of caring. We need to get our teachers to care again, our nurses and doctors to care again, to have the kind of customer service which we all want. Everybody wants to be treated well. Everybody wants to be treated fairly, want to be treated responsibly and respectfully. Yeah. Diana says, over the years, Jamaican government have granted ill-advised contracts to companies like the one granted to the Chinese who operate the toll roads, and that given to JPS. These policies are causing strains on taxpayers. Have you given any thought to these? And is there any way the government can correct these great errors? Absolutely, Diana. We have given much thought to these. We see the pain. We understand the mistakes that were made. And some of them are not really mistakes. We know why they were made. Many of these decisions were made because of the corruption, uh, corrupt gains that can be made. And so they made these decisions in order to facilitate corruption, not to protect the rights and the interest of Jamaicans. Yeah? So we're going to address that. I'll talk some more about that in a bit. But just returning to the point on our children, we also have to make sure that the child's nutrition, preventive care, and the home environment is monitored. You see, like we're monitoring for COVID and we're monitoring. Let's monitor the care that is being given to our children. Let's pay attention to what's happening with them. We can't have our children being abused, at an early age. Many of our young girls lost their virginity as a child, 12, 13, 14, 15, and not willingly. Many of them were raped, some by family members, some by community members, some because their parents were careless, and so on. So we really have to get serious about protecting our children, protecting their innocence, protecting their mental health, taking care of their physical health, and helping them to mature into a very ingenious adult, a very productive adult, a very conscious and aware adult. So we're talking about really improving our education system now to teach certain key values, right? So here are three things that I believe we must make sure happen in our school system, which is not happening right now. But these are three important things that must happen. Number one, we have to make sure that our children understand their bodies fully, understand how to eat, how to the importance of proper sleep, how the mind works, how the brain works, how to maintain optimal health. So mind, body, and character, right? Mind, body, and personality. Mind, body, and spirit. We want to cover all of the things that puts the child in the driver's seat of their life. So they start to understand the key things about themselves very early, so that they're in a position to be able to make good decisions on a day-to-day basis. So their bodies, know thyself. We want the child to know his or herself completely, and not be confused about their gender, or be confused about sexuality, or anything like that. They want to have a clear-cut, unambiguous understanding about themselves, their mind, their bodies, their personality, their character traits, and how to develop and form a solid character. So values and attitudes, very important. Then you want to make sure every child understand human behavior, relationships, how to build solid family relationships, friend relationship, spousal relationship, business relationship, um, general interpersonal skills to be able to deal with people effectively, solve problems properly, how to go through proper problem solving or conflict resolution. So we need to make that this is being taught. You see, the problem with school today is that school today teach children how to look for a job and how to prepare for a job. And I mean, very rudimentary too. The UIC sees it differently. We don't want to prepare children simply to get a job. We want to prepare them for life, how to be successful at life, how to be a successful person, the total package, how to think, how to reason, how to decisions, how to interpret data, interpret behaviors, interpret trends. Yeah. So the first thing, understand yourself. The second thing, understand people and how to relate and deal with people. And the third, which is really crucial, is to understand money and economics, to understand how money works. All of us have to use money. It's the one thing that every single one of us cannot escape. We have to make financial decisions. Our school system doesn't teach our children how money really works. Where does money come from? What is money? How does the monetary system work? If if we the people understood those things, right now we would not be in the position we're in. Instead, because we don't know how money works, they get to trick us. They get to trick us with the Federal Reserve. They get to trick us with fake money called currency. They get to trick us with manipulating interest rate. They get to trick us with manipulating the money supply. They get to steal our money by manipulating exchange rates. And we don't know. The vast majority of us don't know. I know because I've taken the time. My specialty is understanding money. That's what I've spent the vast majority of my life studying: economics, finance, money, how money works, the monetary system, all the frauds in it. I've seen all the frauds, all the trickery. I fully understand all it, but our children don't. Our parents don't. Our grandparents don't. Why? Because there was a deliberate attempt to dumb us down and to make sure we don't understand the trick. If these people were serious about identifying fake news and identifying misinformation and making sure we have the truth, we would not have the monetary system we have now because it's a complete fraud. The monetary system we have globally, and which Jamaica is a party to, a system that steals your purchasing power every single step, every single day of every single week, of every single month, of every single year, which is why most of us will retire poor because they've stolen our purchasing power. They have also designed the system so we spend more and save less, if anything at all. So we're more spending driven, not savings driven, because there's no value in saving when your money is always losing value. So they have tricked us, they have conned us. We in the UIC want to make sure we really educate the next generation of Jamaicans to understand themselves, understand human behavior so we can negotiate better, make better contracts, make better arrangements, both inside our families, in our communities, in the wider Jamaican society, and in the world, right? I mean, when I go around the world, I've traveled to so many countries and I've had to deal with so many people, you know. If we don't understand what's going on, the Chinese go and trick us, which they have. The Americans go and trick us, which they did. The English will trick us, which they absolutely did. Just imagine we sign off on a constitution where we're supposed to be getting our independence, and our leaders signed off on a constitution that says you're all a bunch of dummies. The head of state of your country must be a white woman resident in England because You are not smart enough to have the head of your country being local. How ridiculous. We also signed off on keeping the vast majority of the colonial laws that they had before independence. We just carried them over into our so-called independence. Clearly, we did not have the mental capacity or the smarts to negotiate a proper constitution. Yeah. So we just followed along. We allowed the very people who abducted us from Africa, raped us in Jamaica, extract our wealth from us. We allow them to then give us a constitution to say, here is how you should run the rest of your life. That must be the dumbest outcome I've ever seen in my entire life. Your abductor, your raper, your abuser writes your constitution for you and say, here, follow this. Follow this for the rest of your life because that's what's good for you. Clearly, our leaders had a problem, eh? And they, or maybe it's not just a problem. Maybe our leaders were a part of concocting a constitution which would keep us in a colonial mindset and a colonial structure that allows a small elite and their foreign masters to continue to extract their wealth from us. Yeah. Um, uh, Somebody says, are you aware of voters expiration? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Try saying it another way. Another person says, parents can do that too, like Saturday job. Not sure what that is either. So yeah, but continue. So having spoken about Annalise writing again, she says, a mind that is stretched with great anticipation can never return to its former state. We are in great anticipation, Mr. Patterson. Thank you so much. And we want to stretch the minds even more. And the same thing for our children, eh? Yeah, we need to move way beyond where we have been to what we should have. Uh, Sandra said Mr. Patterson has touched on everything that is choking Jamaica. He's very forthright to the hidden agenda. Yes, absolutely. I understand what is going on, and I want you to understand. That's the only way we're going to win this election. I cannot win this election the normal way, where we just get a bag of money and buy people out. That would be a waste, because if I did that, then I would not have the kind of moral fortitude that you need in a leader. So if I were, and some people wanted us to do that. Some people said the UIC should do what the JLP and PNP did to win. Listen, any leader or any politician or any representative who is deceptive and corrupt in their attempt to win office, when they win office, they're going to be 10 times as worse. So let's not follow what the PNP and JLP did. Let's follow the principle that we, the people, are going to own this party. You and I are going to own this party. This is our party. The UIC is the people's party. And so we're going to join it. We're going to volunteer in it. We're going to donate, and we're going to vote for it. We are going to overcome the millions and millions of dollars from the private sector, the millions of dollars that they're going to steal from our tax money to run an election. We're going to overcome all of that by joining hands together, by word of mouth. We're going to tell our neighbors, tell our fellow employees. So the word just spread like wildfire around the country and around the world to reach all the diaspora. And we're all going to do what I have done. I have led by example, right? When I started the UIC, I used just my money and my wife's money. Yeah. We paid for everything out of our pocket until gradually more persons started to donate. It took a number of years before even the website could have been paid for from donations. I had to pay for it from my pocket every single solitary month. And I'm not a, rich person in the sense of having a lot of money put down. When I take out this, is my savings, it's my children's education money, it's my wife's savings that we're taking and we're putting into this because we want a better Jamaica. And so we continue to fight for this better Jamaica. And so all of us now have to come together and pool our time, pool our talent, pool our treasure to help the UIC to reach every nook and cranny. I want to go and travel all of the parishes and go to all of the communities, but I can't do it so easily because it's gas, it's time away from work. Like whenever I go on the road, it means I'm not doing my client's work, and so I'm not going to get paid, right? So I lose money to go on the road, but I have to go on the road. And so for us to do that, the more we can donate, the more we can get done. Okay. Poker said, what about immigration? Will you let the lost children in more? I'm not sure I follow that. Forgive me. Can't exactly follow what you're saying. But let's now go talk about number 4. So number 1, we talked about the youth employment program. Number 2, the police service and national defense service. And number 3, we talked about ensuring every child receives the nutrition that they need and the education and health. And number 4, now we're going to talk about how to make every family a property owner. How to make every family a property owner. So that will be our next objective now. Now, this is really key. The government has a lot of crown lands that they have just stuck up, right? And they play games with those crown lands. We have a lot of families also who are living on lands that they're either squatting on or land they're waiting for title to come through and so on. The UIC is going to clear up all of that mess. We're going to clear up all of that mess. We're going to divest all the crown lands because they belong to you. All of this land belong to you. You inherited that land, and when the slave masters changed the kind of slavery that they had from the 1838 chattel slavery to apprenticeship period to the what you call it now, the self-governance period, and then to the independence period. One thing they never did was to compensate all of us. Some people get compensation, and some people get to thief land, and some people get to trick us in politics and buy up land at cheap prices and all of that. So some of us are okay. I bought land. I didn't get any special deal. I came back to Jamaica 10 years ago, looked for a piece of land out here in St. Elizabeth, and my wife and I bought 36 acres of land here. But we got no help. We got no special help. We got no political benefits. This was purely us buying at fair market value. But there are many Jamaicans who will never be able to do that for various reasons. And some have family lands which was passed down to them, which needs to be settled and so on. So what we want to do, we want to fix that problem. We want to make sure that every Jamaican become a property owner. So those of us who don't have land or don't have titles to land or don't have the benefits of owning land will get those benefits. We're now invest all of those lands and put them into the good lands. We're going to put the lands that are best for agriculture under agriculture and organic agriculture at that. And then the lands, and then we're going to create homes by converting all of the garrison communities and the ghetto communities and the squatter communities into affordable, high quality condominiums, and make sure every single family now has a home. Now, you might say, how are we going to do this? I mean, there's lots of money. It's all about proper management and understanding economics and how to do it. So we can do it. We're going to make sure we have some very good structures that allows persons to have intergenerational mortgages that are affordable, but that gives them today, when we become government, a high quality home to live in. So the children are no longer in these squalid conditions, in these dirty, unkept places and so on. Some families living in incomplete homes. We're going to bring all of those on a massive construction project that will create jobs, that will put people in quality, decent homes with proper indoor toilet, proper kitchens, proper living room, proper bedrooms. The boys and girls can be in different rooms and all kind of stuff. So we're going to fix that through a structured program that is based on sound economic principles that gives Jamaican what they're entitled to, their inheritance, to be homeowners, to have a property. But we're not going to do it in a careless way. So we're going to preserve the good lands for agriculture and then make sure that all Jamaicans are shareholders in those agricultural businesses. So the land is going to become our oil. You know, like how you have countries like Dubai and you know the Middle Eastern countries and others that have oil, and the citizens benefit from the oil revenue. So what we're going to do is to turn Jamaica into an organic food capital and let the citizens benefit from the profits that comes from these organic farms that are going to be all across the country. This is going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs. We're going to have to even import labor to be able to keep up with the kind of mass, high-tech, organic farming that we're going to have that's going to get rid of all the bad sides and pesticides and fertilizers that were being used and get rid of the GMO seeds and bring back our true organic seeds and get that back into circulation, kill out all the invasive species and get our economy back on track as a sound agricultural economy that's driven by, I'm going to say more later, but water and energy security and so on. So, in short, divest all the crown properties into the hands of the Jamaican people for farming, organic farming, eliminate all the squatting, garrison, ghetto communities permanently, and clean up the place, make it look nice, put in proper parks and community centers, not the Jamaican type community centers, real community centers, the ones with, you know, with proper management, staff, gymnasium, meeting rooms, library, resource centers, that kind of stuff I'm talking about. Quality community centers that help both children and adults to go there and improve their lives, improve their skills, learn and grow, right? We're going to have 100% home ownership with affordable intergenerational mortgages that allows every Jamaican family to have a home, and we have a program to help them to pay for that as well, because you have to be earning, right? But we're going to make sure that we get them into earning capacities, stretch the mortgage out as long as we need to make sure we can get them into this stabilized environment and make the Jamaican citizens shareholders in productive lands and focus those lands on organic farming as well as community tourism. Number 5, we're going to eliminate the tolls, no more toll roads. So we're going to have those roads, but get rid of the tolls, so renegotiating all of that. And implement a solid system of quality road networks into all communities. So no more where you have the main road is good and you turn off and it's all this bad road and you can't get up to your house. We're going to treat you with respect and focus on getting all of our roads properly fixed. Not the helter-skelter thing you're used to. Proper civil engineering now. Proper civil engineering with good drainage systems that are maintained, cleaned routinely by having a public works department with regular staff that are working around the clock 365 days a year to maintain a quality road infrastructure, a quality drainage system, and a quality landscape that you can enjoy right across every single parish, every community. Again, job creation, productivity improvements. And on top of that, we're going to introduce a 21st century transportation service that includes high-speed rail and ferry service right across the country. So you can live in Hanover and you can work in St. Thomas. You can live in St. Anne and work in Portland. You can live in Westmoreland and work in Kingston. You don't have to move to Kingston. You can just quickly hop on and get there by train or bus. And don't believe we can't do this. All of this is already done in Singapore. They have done it because they had leadership. They had leaders who cared, leaders with vision, leaders with purpose, leaders who were looking to build the country as opposed to building their own personal bank account. You have a prime minister now that's focused on building his own wealth and not building the interest of the Jamaican people. We have to change that. And it begins with leadership, with a heart of love, with care for the Jamaican people, care for Jamaica itself. I am shocked to see the condition of our country after 77 years. It means that all of those politicians who led us for 77 years, they have no respect, no regards for the Jamaican people. And that's why our country looks so dilapidated, so unclean, and so uncared for. Because if they loved Jamaica, if they really cared about Jamaica, our country wouldn't look like this. So we're going to fix the problem. We're going to fix the problem by focusing on Jamaica instead of corruption. Yeah? And we're going to stop the bleeding and then refocus that money into the economy and into fixing the country. So we're going to make it easier and faster for people to move goods and services around the country and move themselves around the country. We're going to increase export as a result of the lower transportation costs and the easier access to bringing things to port. So this point number 5 is critical for lifting up the economy by having a solid transport infrastructure network that allows for easy and efficient movement from your home to your destination anywhere around the country. Number 6, we're going to achieve water, food, and energy security by shifting from mining. Mining is bad. Mining is non-renewable. When they mine that, it's done. Yes, you get some short-term benefits of some money today, but you're giving up all of the future benefits of having that asset, that infrastructure asset, that natural asset in place. So we're going to stop the mining foolishness and shift now to energy harvesting, right? So alternative energy production, water harvesting, organic farming. That's the new Jamaica. Alternative energy production, water harvesting, organic farming. This is going to drive our economy the way oil has driven other economy. And you should not be surprised, because Jamaica did this before. We were the leading country in the Caribbean, the jewel in the British economy. And so we have to now reinvent ourselves, not a slave economy anymore that makes a few people very rich and the colonial masters rich, but a Jamaican-driven economy that makes the Jamaican people rich. Every Jamaican. Now we want to channel our economy so it makes them rich, right? So we're gonna make Jamaica the organic food capital of the world. We're going to have a water harvesting grid that links all the communities so none of them suffers anymore from lack of water or low water pressure. We're going to reduce energy costs so that we can now get into manufacturing again and other productions by using solar, biogas, geothermal, wind energy, hydro energy. We're gonna build a cogeneration system where we gradually move away from fossil fuel, have a good mix of these different types of energy, open up the market for the local Jamaican, for the returning resident Jamaican, some smart people that can come in and get involved in grand energy solutions that will bring down the cost of operation and boost our productivity. Number 7, we're going to eliminate poverty with a workfare program that provides every Jamaican a job. This might sound fairy tale to you, but it isn't. We have enough work here in Jamaica. What we don't have is good governance, which then inhibits people from creating. So we're going to undo all of the false, oppressive, bad regulatory structures that is killing off small businesses. And we're going to put a program in place called workfare instead of welfare. What workfare does, it will reduce unemployment and get everyone involved in playing their part in paying for a quality society. We don't want a Jamaica where anybody talk about anything is free. We want a Jamaica where everybody knows that we're all responsible for paying for the Jamaica that we want. So workfare will get the unemployed working, so that they can contribute to their children's education and healthcare and not expect other Jamaicans to pay the cost of their children. Let's get everybody together working. Workfare instead of welfare. This makes everyone accountable and productive. Workfare instead of welfare gets the unskilled to learn on the job and to improve their employability over time. So we're going to have a program that makes every Jamaican engaged and accountable. This is going to affect crime in a very positive way by people having to be accountable now and getting involved in a productive work environment. So all of what we're talking about here is our crime elimination plan. It's a plan to eliminate crime. It's a plan to empower our children. It's a plan to empower our families. It's a plan to build the economy of Jamaica and make us a prosperous nation. Number 8, we're going to replace the colonial constitution. We want to make sure the Jamaican people become fully free. We want to make sure that we are truly a sovereign nation, that we protect the sovereignty of each individual. So, getting rid of the Queen, getting rid of the Governor General, getting rid of the divisive partisan political system, and becoming a truly independent nation as a non-partisan constitutional republic. Never again should we have a dictator as a leader or have our rights being threatened as they are now by any government. So we're going to build a system that protects us from the government. We're going to have a constitution that protects us from the government, and the government that protects us from each other and from external criminal forces that might want to invade our country. So we're talking about real reforms, real changes that's going to give us the Jamaica that we need. We're going to have a directly elected president, 3 county vice presidents elected by the counties, Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. We're going to have 14 elected senators instead of what we have now, which are 21 puppets, which are appointed by the leaders of 2 parties. How can you have that? Your senators being appointed by 2 party leaders. So we're going to get rid of that and have our senators be elected, 1 per parish. And so now you're going to have independent, elected, purpose-driven individuals who can protect the interest of their parish, represent the people of their parish, and make sure they hold the executive branch accountable. Similarly, we're going to change the campaign financing structure. Right now, big business, big money, corrupt or otherwise, gets to buy a politician, buy a party, and get that party to do what they want. None of that anymore. We're going to have 100% publicly funded campaign financing, and that means the taxpayers are going to fund a simple, structured campaign of each individual who wants to run for office. Once they can pass the bar, we're going to have a qualification process, which includes taking courses, demonstrating that you understand good governance, that you understand statistics, that you understand the things you need to understand to be able to be a good political representative. Yeah. So we're going to make sure that we have a process that gives us quality political representatives. And once you pass the process, you then get your nominators, a group of people to nominate you and give you their votes. And once you have that, you now qualify for 100% funding in a structured program, not a free-for-all. You're not getting any money in your hand to spend. What you're going to get is access to the same internet access, the same newspaper access, the same television access, the same town hall meeting access, the same debating stage access, equally, all the candidates in a particular constituency. And then the people can judge you. What you say will be fact-checked, so the people know if what you're saying is true or not. And the people can judge you based on your qualification, based on your ability to communicate, and based on your platform or manifesto, and how you have responded to their needs, and then they vote for you. And you have to live in the community where you're trying to represent. Yeah. So that will fix a lot of problems for us. I could go into more, but to keep it simple, then we're not going to have any more politicians as ministers of government. Instead, we're going to have subject matter experts as ministers. So the executive branch, the president and vice presidents, will get together and nominate a person and say this person is qualified to serve as Minister of Health. Of course, the person has to be a subject matter expert, somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, and not somebody who will be a puppet of the foreign masters in case we have another pandemic. And then, of course, the Senate will be allowed to vet that person publicly. So it's not just an appointment. You have to now be vetted publicly by the Senate. The Senate will then recommend to the House of Representatives, and the House of Rep will then vote in or out. So we have a more controlled process, proper checks and balances, and now we have quality leadership in every ministry. Number 9, we're going to investigate, prosecute, and convict all politicians and their associates who participated in any form of corruption that can be proven via a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which will include an amnesty program that provides credible information leading to a criminal conviction. So we have a process to kind of go back in time a little bit and prosecute those who we can prove that they have gained from corruption while in political office, so they won't get off scot-free. The final point in our 10-point plan is a powerful one that might take a little bit of thinking to fully understand. We're going to eliminate all property taxes, all duties, and all other taxes that you have in the country. We're going to eliminate all of them and replace them with 2 simple taxes. Number 1 will be a 10% income tax on income from all sources. And number 2 will be a reduced GCT down from 15% to 10%, which will be used to fund specifically the what do you call it now? Poverty elimination. So we're going to eliminate poverty by protecting the environment, and we're going to use this 10% GCT to accomplish that. So this is very important. So this will be a key component of our economic plan. So number 1, single 10% income tax on all sources, which will make it very simple and easy for compliance. So what's going to happen? The cost of compliance will come down. The intake from increased compliance will go up. The underground economy will shrink. On the GCT side, we're now going to have a targeted program to make sure the healthcare, the nutritional needs, the educational needs, the housing needs of our children or family are met. And we're going to be able to manage that in a way that is very transparent to the Jamaican people. It's also going to cap government taxing. So by law, they can't go over the 10%. So the only way that they can get more taxes is if the economy grows, because 10% of $1 billion will be greater when the $1 billion of economic GDP goes to, say, twice that, then your taxes will be twice. 10% of the number is a bigger number, bigger amount. So these are key things we're going to use to drive developments. I wish I could spend some more time with you, but I'm now out of time, and I'm being given the signal that I need to go. I'm 8 minutes over. But thank you so much for spending the time with me. I'll come back again and I'll explain more on how the point plan will work to build for us a strong and better Jamaica. So again, like, subscribe, tell all your friends about the UIC, share this video everywhere. But most importantly, remember, the mainstream media does not want you to hear from the UIC. So you won't see me normally on CVM or TVJ or hear me on the radio, because they have blocked the UIC for the most part. They only kind of get us sometime when they want to ridicule us. So you have to be the one to get people to hear us by sharing all of our UIC Liberty TV videos. Go to our group on Facebook, UIC Jamaica page, UIC Jamaica group, or Twitter handle, everything, and share with everybody, so that when we speak, We still reach Jamaicans, even though the powers that be are trying to block us. You see, they're trying to block us from the debates coming up, the local government debates. They didn't invite us. They didn't even talk to us. They didn't even call us because they don't want you to hear from us. But you, the people, we, the people, can go around all of that. I will not buy one single ad on those television or radio station. Not one. I will not buy a single ad because they're the enemy. They're working against the people of Jamaica by not doing investigative journalism, by not showing Jamaicans all the options. They keep saying, oh, JLP this, PNP this, and they ignore the UIC. But you don't have to allow them to get away with it. You share, you tell your family, you tell your friends, you tell your co-workers, and share this with them. And when the entire Jamaica hear and know what's going on, they will vote UIC, they will vote for themselves, they'll vote for a new and better Jamaica. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you again.
UIC. Freedom of people of hell yeah. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom of people of want. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom of people of want. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom of people of want. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. That when you free up the people, levitate. Jamaica member, you ever great. I feel burn up the fire upon every snake. Me give thanks in every way. God still a look down once we safe. I see around the road long time. GLP and PMP I sell we out. Till I do the test even though we know the end result. If them coulda kill with them catch we and hang we know. No force no coercion, me freedom in a step. No one fi rob we and kill we and feel them a go make it out. You know see the leeches, you know see the angel the devil when him sleep with. You know see the leeches, you know see the angel the devil when him sleep with. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Yeah, me drop the braffin now, and then I laughing now. What them talking about? Everything cement and we not talking growth. Jamaican intellectuals are marching now. Them couldn't get the last laugh, no them laughing loud. We don't need the small talk when we talking bro. We don't need them 5 grand, we need to part them now. Long time GLP and PMP I sell we out. Till I do the test even though we know the end result. If them coulda kill with them catch we and hang we know.
On right now, our best bet for that and for make that all that happen is for putting our support behind the UIC. And yes, I'm campaigning. Oh, Carlos, it sound like a camp. Yes, I'm campaigning. You can't sit down and sleep. We're not asleep. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. So we are campaigning from no ease up. Remember that. I campaign with the pan. We never discussed this with the president or the vice president or anybody in the party. It's just me. I think we should push it. People not fall asleep. Can I take the PNP and JLP machinery easy? Them already dig a tunnel and then bury them foot tonight for years. Get ready for any incoming. And them now gonna make nobody come in there so easy. Because the two of them are twin. They are twin people, JLP and PNP, if on one or the other. So the hardest thing for them to make a third party come say what them in India do all these 70-something years. So it's time for make a next party come in and come see what go on. When Andrew Onis was running with Portia, even though I came from a PNP background, I supported Andrew. I did it for the country. Why I do it? Because I wanted Andrew Onis to come look over Portia's shoulder after 18 years, come look at the goddamn books, come see what Portia Simpson was doing. That's why I supported Andrew when he was running with Portia Simpson. Because for a country, I'm a very patriotic guy. It was no side, it was a country. And I stepped away from my family who are PNP, and I went and supported Andrew Onis because I was thinking about my country and how the country was going at that time under Portia. I did not like it. And I thought Andrew Onis was the best bet for us as people, as he was a younger man, younger mind. But I was so wrong. A lot of you here who thought that were wrong too. So now here comes a UIC party. Let's do this for the country. People, let's make a bold move for the country, make bold statements for the country. Let's support them. Let's send your hard-earned support behind them in the form of donation for the country. People, the UIC is a grassroots movement. I'm going to say this over and over again. It's funded by you and me. It's a people's funding movement. It's not no PNP or JLP where get money from the big people and the big corporation and rich people. So these politicians have to serve them and not you. Politicians have to come with policy for the people that giving the big old money, not you. People, let's do this for Jamaica once and for all. Don't let's look back, Jamaica. We have a chance. We have a chance, Jamaica. Let's not look back. Let's not look back, Jamaica. Let's give this party a shot. And because of our patriotism and our allegiance to our country and not a party on a side. If the UIC comes in there and they're not doing good by the people, we vote them out too. People, yes. If the UIC come in there and not doing what Mr. Patterson said he was going to do, we get rid of them too. People, I support UIC. I'm a firm member. I'm campaigning for them. But don't get this twisted. Don't get this twisted. My country is above the UIC. I put my country above Mr. Patterson. So if Mr. Patterson come in there and the UIC come in and do anything that hurt my country, it's time to put on with steel-toe boot, people. Lace up a boot and kick them out. Stop being die-hearted. That's what I'm trying to tell you today. So you see the UIC people, as far as I'm messy, you and I overseas right here. We don't want to go home, people. And the only shot of us going back home. What else the PNP and the Labour are going to tell us new? What do you expect of them? What do you think they can do new after 70-something years? What are they going to tell us different? Let's give the UIC a shot, people. I know what I think too that I'm happy for. You guys overseas, come over here, come be wise and smarter. We overseas see things different from people in Jamaica who never travel, you know. Because when we come overseas, we see how them run politics and how people are held accountable over here. So, there's a corruption there everywhere in the people. But we see, when you get found out at them a place, you're going to prison. You disgrace. So when we come up here, let's forget Canada, America, England, and see all this nice stuff, and I say, how can we not have it happen after we have no accountability, no transparency at Jamaica? We know what is wrong in our country. We who travel out of our country, we know exactly what is wrong. Because when we travel out and see other things, we say, oh no, why we don't have that at Jamaica? I'd love to have that in my country. Oh my. I saw where I see it. So as you look where I go on, family, you think PNP, give them a chance right now to come in. You think that will change the country? Give GLP another term again. You think that will change the country? What do you expect? Them to do different family. Give UIC a chance. Give them a chance, family. At least the kid, when the grandkid come up and a question and ask when the story is written, it's all written, you know. Our grandkid's gonna ask us, Daddy, you never see another party. Why you didn't try the UIC, Daddy? Me say in 20 something another UIC, yes, Daddy, why you never tried? Kid, because UIC wasn't giving me a dozen chicken and a bag of feeding. UIC wasn't giving me 2 pounds of flour. That's what is hurting us. Politicians give handout, so them don't have to do any work. Politician only job is handout. Once they give you a handout, they don't have to do no work because the people are comfortable. Jamaica, let's step away from that so we can leave a good Jamaican for our offspring, our grandkids. Let's move away from that mentality, Jamaica, what that is doing for us. After you get a little handful, how much time that can go to the store? After eat that, you're gone to the toilet. It's gone. You do the Jamaica right there, so the MRI machine, the CT scan, the burn unit, the roads, development of this community, the schools and everything. We're tired, Jamaica, we're tired. I would like to go home, retire from here after I come here, come work so hard. And you too. You don't like to retire, go home to a beautiful country. And you hear Mr. Patterson said, the leader of the UIC said, it will open up the ports. So those of us who have machinery overseas, we can bring with the stuff tax free. You know what the man say? He's encouraging returning residents. Oh my God, imagine UIC win. And him say, all you overseas, bringing your stuff tax free, bring it in. That's what the UIC leader said. Those of us overseas will be encouraged to bring home a factory, whatever we have overseas, because it might attract it back into the country. Then we wouldn't stop with Jamaica. Jamaica, they couldn't stop with. Imagine how much expert to come from Jamaica. Somehow we are never expert when we left Jamaica, but we come back, so we go to school and we learn trade. Somehow when we left Jamaica, we never have one skill. You come back and say many skills, many trades. Well, somehow we left Jamaica dunce. We come back and say we go to school. Do you know also Jamaica live over here, sir? Huh? You know also Jamaica live over here, sir? Yesterday, I see an excavator. One man have this excavator tear up this land. I rip up the tree, them and this and that, and you have a nice pickup truck. You know the pickup truck, the Rapture, the Ford Rapture. Very nice pickup truck. Park right next to the... So I went up to the man to ask him a question. You know, if I rip up the land, a clear land. Nice machine. I mean, pull up to him and him saw me and him stop the machine and turn on the equipment. And he opened the door. The man's an Indian man. Coolie man. I start talk to the man. And I talk good and you think he's an American man, but no matter how you talk good, you can't fool me if you're a Jamaican. You're going to hear the accent. You can't fool me. I don't care how you talk like a speaky spokey. If I say, yo, yard man? Yeah, man. They never know a yard man. Never know a yard man. Look like anybody who born and grow America do the same type of job. In truck just as nice as anybody who born and grow here. In machine that might use rip up the land. You like him father born here. The man is from Jamaica. And that man right there, with all the equipment he have in America and the knowledge he have of it, when he learn here, he probably have to stay here until him get old and dead. Because enough of us no one go back to Jamaica, we're scared because of the crime. Under the PNP, there will be no crime seized because they are the criminals. JLP, same thing. They're linked with criminals and gangs. Criminal and gangs survive by these two parties because they give them contracts to build roads and to do all type of stuff. Funnel back the money back in the gangs and stuff like that. They buy guns. Because when criminals get money, they don't elevate the community. They take it by weapons and bullets and all this stuff and tear down the country. So our taxpayers over the years, the PNP and Labour Right have been, criminal have been pretty much state funded. Because if they are giving criminal taxpayers money to build roads or any contracts, that's state, right? And when these politicians know who them are give the money, right? Criminals, right? Them know say criminal and bad man them are give this contract, right? So they might help this criminal and bad man to get richer, to buy more weapons, to more bullets. These politicians, Labour and PNP, right? So how must have a better Jamaica? How them can go talk to these men? Huh? From a local boy, a politician give out guns to gang members. Huh? Imagine if we have a party who is not doing that no more. Orderly, righteous Jamaica. Imagine if we have a country where everybody's held accountable. Transparency. Imagine if we have a Jamaica where it's orderly and clean. Mr. Patty saying want a clean Jamaica. From coast to coast, not only the tourist resort. That's one of the things the UIC said, if you guys didn't hear that. The UIC said they want a clean and orderly Jamaica. He said no want to see us a clean Jamaica when you go to the tourists. He said want a clean Jamaica right through. Clean Jamaica right through. Tote boxes and boxes and stuff I walk down the drain. The man want a clean Jamaica. He wants some of what he learned overseas. Like me and you. The man was a returning resident. He was in Canada spending time and educating himself, working. Wishing he could take a big piece of Canada home and replicate what is going on in Canada back in this country. Like so many of us who like to replicate, imitate, and emulate stuff that's going on over here, right back to Jamaica. They like to send it so we have a better country. People, now's the time to think with our brain and not with our belly. Our mother, our fathers, our grandparents, them over the years, them all them think about is their belly because they did not know better. But this part is dependent on you and I overseas who are smarter, wiser, more knowledgeable. I'm telling you, the UIC is for Jamaica. But more than all, most of all, for us overseas, when you want to go home, you want to take a factory go to Jamaica, you want to take a business go there, tax free, pack it up in a container, ship it home. We're coming home bound, make the UIC winners what. Make the UIC we now see what you would have planes. If we carry them out of Jamaicans, we're going to go to Jamaica. You would have planes, family. Because I will be flying down to vote. And you here should be flying down to vote too. Not just no mailing ballot. Me not trust no electronic, nothing. What me trust is me being there. Because it's so important to me. This should be a vacation for us. Whenever the election come, people, this is so important to us. This should be like a vacation. It's like you save the money for go to Jamaica on vacation. Start saving the money for go vote. Because I will be doing the same thing. People, just like I was saving money for go to Jamaica, go bathe in the water down there. Start saving money for go vote for the UIC. Vote for change. Vote for the party that is willing. You hear the man say again? For those of you who didn't listen. Mr. Patterson said, he'll open up the port for us. UIC win. Tax breaks, tax free. We can ship in with factories, whatever we have going on over here. We can ship it into the country. We can come home. What the man say? Come home. That the UIC I tell you say, come home. All who are weary, come home. In the diaspora, come home. Do you know much people make their money and pack them container? People tell me they call this pack my container already, but we can't go home, too much crime. Enough of we over here so want to go home, reach retirement age, have enough money to last us for the rest of our life and help people out of it. We cannot go home. Cannot go home. Too much crime. But the UIC want an orderly, peaceful, clean Jamaica. The UIC willing to send their politicians to prison who are engaged in crookedness and corruption. That's why I love the UIC. That's one of the part that I love them. They must send them politicians if them get into any dirt to jail, just like you and I. Unlike the PNP and the Labour Right, what we see here for decades. Nobody's held accountable on the PNP and Labour Right. They could thief, do anything. On the UIC, that's over. That's over. On the UIC, you and I will be able to pick up our business, pack up our factories, ship it back home. Take back our expertise, our knowledge back to the people. Open factory to employ people. Pump up the economy. Can you imagine a thoughtfulness like that? Can you imagine a thought like that? Can you imagine a country where a leader is thinking about us? PNP and Labour, nah, think about we. Look what's money they charge we. As much as we are sending barrels at Jamaica to help poor people, how many times the free barrel we are sent for give it for free, arm and a leg? My brother Cliff does send 4 barrels at Jamaica there. Him say nah, send no more. Free barrel him send go give people. The taxes and the arm and the leg. We over here are trying to do good. The government still a stick we up. Them not give we them not giving no break. It's like we are nothing to them. Look at the Western Union. Every day is go to Jamaica Western Union line long from the moment Western Union open to the moment Western Union close. Every Western Union in every town in my country because we overseas are stop pump money out there. Western Union stay open full from the moment it's open in the morning. Close at night. Every day. All day. MoneyGram. Because we overseas stop send money in. So you see the power we have. So thank God for Mr. Patterson. He recognize that. The UIC recognize that. The UIC recognize the diaspora. So that's what them say. Mr. Patterson say. Me hearing up people. Let me listen. I will be holding them accountable. Like I say. Give them a shot, people. Give UIC a shot. And if UIC don't live up to what we expect, we kick them out for the next 4 years. Same way. Because the country we are dealing with. The land guy is here, people. The landscaper. The same guy will mash up the tree them in the backyard. So anyway, people, UIC, just think for a minute. Think for a minute. Stop the die-heartedness. Those are you overseas. Not for only no die-hearted. I want to come overseas and say no die-hearted. Just like me. A strong PNP man come over here, so. And when I come here, so, I support the JLP. Listen to me. I come from PNP. My family, me run up and down with PNP in Jamaica. It was when I come to America, my mind changed till I went and support Andrew Onis when he was running against Portia because I was thinking about country. Because I come here and get more smarter, wiser, knowledgeable. It was about the country. So now PNP and Labour Right. Let's put it behind the country. Make a push UIC. Say the donation to them. Go to UICJamaica.com. Find the UIC. Just put in UIC somewhere. You find them. You know the logo. You find them. Mr. Patterson is not hard to find. Mr. Devon is not hard to find. Find the UIC, send them a support. You look at dollar, send them a support. Let me tell you something again. It's a people's funding movement. So let me tell you again, because some people I think say, some people say it's George Soros. Oh my God, I wish George Soros was giving us some money. I really wish George Soros was funding the UIC. Or anybody with money. When someone that say George Soros, people, you're crazy. Are we? The dollar, the $2, $20, $20, $100, $50. Are we? It's a crowdfunding. Do you guys understand what a crowdfunding is? Eh? Crowdfunding. When someone don't understand, I beg on the money so them can push. I want the money when I donate to them. So the UIC I beg on the money so them can run, keep them floating. Donation, keep them alive. Donation, we put in the tank, keep it fuel in the tank. Our donation, we can do it. And I'm committed to donate it to them. You know why? Jamaica means so much to me. My country means so much to me that I'm willing to donate for change, real change. So me asking you guys, don't forget to link them up and donate to them. Crowdfunding, donate to them. Go find the UIC. Go donate to them, family. It's a crowdfunding. You know about crowdfunding? Remember Bernie Sanders, when Bernie Sanders was running? Bernie Sanders run on crowdfunding. And Bernie Sanders had the most donation. Who remember that? Even though Bernie Sanders lost, Bernie Sanders has millions and billions of dollars in donation fund. They were saying, what Bernie Sanders is going to do with all this money? Small donations, maximum, something like $27. He was talking about it, 15, 10, and the amount of people, a lot of people, it add up. So people, let's not only support the UIC with our mouth and our fingers in the comment section, let's put our pocket where our mouths are. Let's support the UIC with our hard sweat. It's not about UIC, it's about Jamaica. And we do it for Jamaica. Let's support them. Because it's not easy to come up against the PNP and the Labour Right machinery. They have money. And they have the type of money to walk around and give. Like somebody in the comment section and a video earlier said, they remember when the politicians come in place and give them zinc for them to vote. Them a politician a master of deception. Them come give you stuff to vote, chicken to vote. The last election, we see them have trucks and trucks of chicken a give away. All of a sudden, you have chicken for give away in the election. All these years and poor people have suffered the last 4 or 5 years. Peer suffering. When the election come, we see politicians drive around with a truck of chicken. Because them take off a chicken. Are we going to go for that again? And when they win, them come back with the chicken? Do you see any more chicken from that? No, seriously. I've just seen a politician walking around giving chicken, feeding, fertilizer after the win. It's trickery, people. Aren't you tired to be tricked? How many times politicians have to fool you before you learn? We need a change. That's a song, my song. How many times? Check out that song on iTunes by Jamaican Carlos. How many times? How many times politicians have to fool you before we learn? We need a change. Love you, people. UIC me say. And the campaign start. No! Yo, the UIC don't tell me to start. They don't tell me to start campaign. No, but me mad like that. So me I go ahead and push it. UIC don't tell me say election time, it's a campaign time, you know. No, they don't tell me. But you know what? This when the UIC come out here, nobody don't want to listen to them. Nobody don't want to listen to them. Nobody don't want to listen to the radio, the TV, nobody don't want to listen to them. But no, you go watch, everybody gonna run down Mr. Patterson. You know, Mr. Patterson, can I get an interview, sir? Because the hottest thing around here, watch it. But just like we started like this. This is how the UIC started on a platform like this. Do you remember the first time I heard about UIC? You remember that time there when we introduced them to you guys? Who remember that? You remember those interviews, the first time I hear the man's voice? I did 2 interviews with Mr. Patterson on my page, and I'll find them and I'll replace them up or so. Repost them. I interview Devon Thompson. They're up here. I interview Mr. Patterson and Ev page at Spotlight and New Market with me and Ev McLilly. So 3 times we interview Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson started on platforms like this. And when the UIC started, Mr. Patterson looked at me and said, Carlos, the major channels are not giving us no chance. TV, they not give us nothing. I said, Mr. Patterson, Don't worry about them. Let's go social media. I said, find every vloggers you can find. I see what me tell him. Mr. Social media is more powerful than them. These are the words I told Mr. Patterson. Social media is power than TVJ, RJR, CVN, MSNBC, Fox. Because the whole of them upon social media right here looking for views. All these TV stations, all these papers have a social media page trying to seek views and people. So I tell him, say, go on this platform, go on social media. Do your things on social media. The people say that's where the people hang out. Did it work? Did that work? Yes. The people get the message. People are on social media. Most people are on social media at any given time more than watching TV or listening to a radio. People are on social media. That's where the people hang out. Go meet them. Mr. Patterson, the UIC, did just that. He went out there. He did just that. He used social media. Now you see, unstoppable jump on. Now it's really unstoppable. Now unstoppable jump on as a warrior. Big up yourself, unstoppable. And other vloggers, other vloggers that talk about it. Big up on yourself, every vloggers out there. Every vloggers out there. Trust me. And this is what I tell somebody. The UIC have more people. More than the amount of, not the UIC. We vloggers have more people following us combined than the amount of people in Jamaica. Vloggers. If you combine everybody who following us, we have millions and millions of followers. More than the amount of people in Jamaica. So who are we? We're not nobody. So if all of these vloggers decide so we are going to be in the UIC and push them and talk about them cannot hold the UIC. And UIC wouldn't need no TV and no big to come talk about we. The landscaper people, I'm sorry about that. The landscaper is here. I'll show you. That's the landscaper people. That's how they do it here in Florida. That's how they do it, people. They have so much grass to cut in Florida. You can't push a lawnmower. You have to drive it. You have to drive it. I'll show you one more time before we go inside. The landscaper. See him on there? Drive. So people, landscaper, enough nice. So anyway, people, let's push our support behind the UIC. Let's lend them our support, people. Let's put in our money, put our it's enough of our talk. Yeah, we need change. But look here, UIC need money. See the boss get arrested the other day. We need money. Wanna believe? See the other members of the UIC get arrested. Mr. Patterson need money. You know, for lawyer fee. And the fee when they're gonna charge him, the fine. And then the people who got arrested. We need to help them. Pay the fine. The same people who got arrested, Mr. Patterson. They say about 4 other people got arrested or something like that. Those people need our help also. Because they were out there for us. For some of us overseas who were happy to see them, we couldn't go, but they stand up for us. They're standing up in our place for us. They were doing this for us, for who couldn't make it. And we are proud of them. So let's start donate to the UIC to help with the legal bills and push this thing forward. If your country means everything to you, you'd want to donate and support the UIC. I love it, people. As some people say, I see people put in the comment section, yesterday I was reading, said the UIC better find money for give the people in Jamaica, handouts. People, you see the mentality of the people? You see the mentality of the people? Somebody put in the comment section, have the audacity to put, say the UIC better find money if go handout to the Jamaica people then. Because they now win. You see the mentality of the people? Handout. That's all politicians, that's the only work politicians have to do is handout. The rest of 4 or 5 years, them not do no more work. Only hospital look like a graveyard, no jobs. Why would they take a handout over jobs, Jamaicans? Why would you take handout of a better Jamaican? Why would you take a night's food over the future of your country? We name out our country too much. We need to stop eating out our country. I love you guys. Support the UIC. And respect every blogger. We soon will come out, you know. Every vlogger. Everybody. Respect everybody who do a video. Come and urge you guys, you know. Get before the camera. Look into it. Do videos. And I'm seeing the videos, them coming out one by one, little by little. People are doing videos. They are getting before the camera. And they are doing videos. Get before your camera, people, and do videos. If you cannot do it live like Carlos, do it and edit it. Eh? They could do something, people, before something do it. If I hear Jamaican people say this, they could do something before something do it. They could do something before something do it. I'm going to ask you one more question before we leave. I campaign for them, man. What I say? I'm not campaign for UIC. And the country I campaign for. And the country, people, my support of the UIC is the support for a better country. What the PNP and the Labour Rights can do different for us right now. What kind of lie them I tell you after 70-something years? What do you expect of them? What do you expect them to change? Somebody tell me right or so. Somebody tell me right or so. What do you expect the PNP and the Labour Rights to do? What change do you expect of them? Not seriously, unless we are kudumun, we are idiot. Unless we are dummy. What do you expect of these people? What change do you expect of them? What different do you expect of them? All these years, all the lies, and they're not coming nothing. What do you expect them to change the next year? So you're going to give them a vote again? If you try with the same lie again? What? Or you keep doing the same thing and expect different results? You'll be a dummy then. Eh? May I ask again, what do you expect of the PNP and the Labour Rights? We want change for the country. And don't forget to Mr. Patterson saying, we're going to hold him by it. And so when they win, the port, ma kick off the door down by the port, so we overseas can ship. Can you imagine enough of it? You know what, Britain, you know, with a container up here full of same thing one guy Jamaica. Can you imagine? Sometimes I wonder why these politicians don't do it. Because there are so many of us over here with so many things we want to send back to Jamaica. And they make life so hard for the poor Jamaicans back home. Because we want to send more and send so much, but they make it so hard. Even they pick up the stuff off of the street and it's free here. The arm and the leg just to send to the poor out there. It's as if like them don't want the poor to be better. So Mr. Patterson said, whenever I win family, he's going to rip off the door down by the port, down by the wharf. So we overseas who have worked all our life can bring our office back home. Bring our factory back home. Bring our equipment back home. Bring our plants back home. Can you just imagine when Ken come back, Nakni Ken come back with the equipment? Because Nakni Ken I make some things now in their own factory and hire people. Can you imagine when Nakni Ken come back with the amount of thing we learn at foreign, come back to Jamaica? That's the type of Jamaica I want. That's people. I'm dreaming of a Jamaica like that. Dream with me, no man. Dream with me, man. I'm dreaming of a Jamaica like when we carry down with equipment, go back to Jamaica. Apply what we learned back to the country. Live in a peaceful Jamaica. We're not gang now talking to a politician ears and a politician are telling no gang to do nothing. When Mr. Patterson up gang and a friend. Them the thing they cut out. You know, everybody's a nice upstanding citizen of the place. That's what we want. That's what we want, family. That's the future we want for my granddaughters. We have 2 granddaughters. And this is why I'm supporting the USC. For my 2 grandkids. For my 2 grandkids, so them can come up to see something different. Not me as a 51-year-old man. My father is an old man, I can tell you the same thing too. And if my father was alive, he can tell you the same struggle been through in Jamaica too. How many times our parents are going to tell us these sad stories? How many times, man? It's time for a change. And I am campaigning right now. I did not tell Devon Thompson anything of the UIC Vice President. I did not tell Mr. Joseph Patterson anything. I didn't even talk to them. I just decided to do my video and I start the campaign. People, the campaign is off. Because if I go up against the PNP and the JLP, you better start campaigning now. Because them 2 parties, they know where they body bury. Them are master of deception. Them dig them foot in a trench. And it's not easy to move them. So if you're going to start move them right now, you better start now with the heavy lifting. All the donation, all the support we get. Make the word go out there. The mainstream media in Jamaica don't want to come up with the UIC. They don't want to push the UIC. But guess what? Vloggers, social media is more powerful than them. And if all the vloggers up here start following the UIC, between us all, We have more, the amount of people vloggers have up here. We have more people that are in Jamaica. Millions of people combined. We talk about a combined effort. Vloggers from Jamaica. You think they could have stopped with? If we decide to support the UIC, you think they could have stopped with? And we have support the UIC for free. No pay for no advertisement or that's free. Because this is my donation to the UIC. Free. Free run us up. Big up Unstoppable TV. We know you piss off enough people in Unstoppable. And enough people cuss me out. I know you're not Unstoppable. People cuss me out too. Last night, one lady called me an imbecile. Imbecile. In Jamaica, say imbecile. When somebody call it imbecile, say you're stupid. That's what a lady called me yesterday. Why? Because we start support UIC and the seminar turn back. But I've been a UIC for a long time. The first blogger you hear talk about UIC is who? Me. The first person you hear talk about UIC. I bring them out here. So, a lady called me imbecile last night. The lady called me imbecile, the imbecile, that means somebody dumb, you know. So me say, so me answer her. And my answer was a little bit rude. And I like, because you come to me like that, I'll come back to you. But me never delete her. I could have deleted her enough people. So me answer her. And you know what the lady say? Me can't take criticism. Look, me can't take constructive criticism. Somebody called her imbecile. You see, some people think I'm smart, you know, because me ignorant. She call me a name like that, unless she don't know the meaning of that word she used. Then when me step on her neck now, she come back and say, me can't take constructive criticism. But lady, you just name call me. You just call me a name. It's nothing constructive about that. So, we just go in the comment section and delete her, block her, and block any other page that she may make. Because you can do that now, people. You can block somebody, and you can block any other page. Because you know some people come up on some other page and make out, some people think they have slick. They have 3, 4 pages on social media, block them, they come up in a farm of something else. No. When I block it from my page, that lady last night, I block her. Because she was disrespectful. People disrespect me all the time. We can't see all of it. We don't lose no sleep over it. But you have to expect the work where I do. People are going to say all type of stuff. Because you burn people, you hurt people. You know, oh, Carlos, I'm disappointed in you. Because I says UIC, I push the UIC. You know, there are some people, I share the UIC on my page, they don't like it. They don't like it. But people, I campaign from now. Remember me telling you, because we can't wait. Because PNP and Labour right on an easy party to get out of a master of deception. So any real Jamaica will know that. So if you go campaign against them two party, you're going to need to do it now. And the whole over there stuff is a UIC. What is a foreign? Hold on. The diaspora for the UIC. More of it soon put it on the page. Because that me put on my page. Diaspora for the UIC. Not the UIC for the diaspora. The diaspora, we are for the UIC because we want change. The UIC is for everybody. Diasporans and the people of Jamaica. But the diasporans are for what? Maybe so to put it as blog on the page. Come in, I love to share, you know. Somebody put it as blog. I'm not going to put it on my page. Put it as blog and I'll share it to my page. I want to see one of you do that to your page. And I'll share that to my page. Because we can simply put that blog on my page and you share it, you know. But this time around, I want to do it. Diaspora is for UIC. Something like that. Some of you have better words than me. Better command of the English language. Put it in one nice girl package and wrap it up and put it up here so and we will share it. Diaspora is for UIC. I keep speaking. Make people know so the only party I plan to give a tax break at the war when we are when they win at the UIC. Nobody ever all the try we are try. Sometimes we say PNP and Labour right now respect we, you know. All the beg we are beg ease up the barrel, they don't have the port, make the videos. Did the worker man come again? All the beg we are begging. All the beg we are begging the government say ease up the barrels we are saying, all the stuff we are saying. Go give people for free at Jamaica. Look how much stuff we do for free Jamaica. Them not give us no chance, no ease up, nothing at all. But can you imagine? We are here from a UIC president who have, the man never win the party at family, but the man say, the man I think big. We need big, bold moves of a country. Big, grand plan. Big, grand plan. How you go on the mango tree, you know? Look. You remember telling the man go on the mango tree? See him there? Go on the tree, the worker. Hey! Just a moment, bro. Good morning, man. The waka there. Could you not go close to the tree? See that tree, so it's dying right there?
Yeah.
It's a waka that strip off the skin off of it. That tree right out there, the waka, hit the skin off of it. This one right here is the only one that is safe. So I'm just begging, be careful, please, because I love my tree.
Not a problem.
I'm gonna put more sticks around it.
Okay.
Thank you, man. What's your name, brother?
Austin.
Austin, I'm Carlos, man.
All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, brother. Thank you so
You
much.
own the BMW?
Huh? If I own a BMW?
I said, is that the BMW out there yours?
No, my nephew BMW.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's a nice car.
Nice car. Thank you, brother.
Have a good one.
Are you too, man? Enough love, man. Yeah. So smell, young people. Yeah, man, so back to the people. That's the same whacker, man. Remember I told you about the plants? Strip off the skin off the bark of the tree, and the plants are struggling in the back. That's him. And I caught him today. We catch him today. So you have to tell him today, say, keep that thing away from the plants. They're destroying my plants with the whacker. Anyway, people, UIC, the Jamaican diasporans for UIC, make us say that. Love on the people, never got you. Think about what Carlos has said. How much I know they are foreign right now have containers and sitting on and ship go back to Jamaica. Now ready to go back home, just pack up everything. And that the UIC are saying, UIC is calling us home. Have you ever seen PNP and labor rights show with that amount of attention and respect? Even just to think like that? They won't even lower the barrels and we are sending to Jamaica and not free we are sending them out if I go get poor people. They won't even give you a chance at the bar, at the wharf right now, free chance. They wouldn't lower the fees. PNP and Labour would not lower the fees for us. They take the UIC. If you say, diasporans, I win, come in with everything you got. You're going to open it. Come in with the ideas, bring your stuff. That's how you build the country. If all of us roll into Jamaica, we don't need to borrow the money from nowhere, you know. There are millions of Jamaicans overseas with billions of dollars, assets, ideas, all type of stuff. Millions of Jamaicans overseas with billions of dollars. But they don't make it attractive to us. Sometimes you see in the comment section, them say, they don't want the diasporans them to come back home. PNP and Labour don't want to come back home and look like that. And many times you see it in the comment section, how many of you feel like that? That this current party, when PNP and Labour don't want you to come back home. They don't make it attractive to us. Everything them do to keep us away. But you come to UIC, you think we don't hear that, Mr. Patterson? I heard that, sir. Loud and clear. It's recorded. We got it here. So when you win, kick off the door, go off. Diasporans all over the world, bring in your expertise. Come back home. Come home. Come build your country. Can you imagine the exodus? Crime gone down, different environment. Because I believe that crime will go down under a man like Mr. Patterson. Governance, crime will go down. You can see the march. Even when the police arrested him, the crowd wasn't riled up because the energy that bounced off of him is on the people. It's a calm man, so the reflection is on the people. Had it been a PNP or a JLP rally, and the police would arrest a speaker in the middle of talking, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. If it was a PNP or JLP, it wouldn't be the same. If it was that type of party and they have a rally, they wouldn't be the same family. If the police come arrest the man while he's talking, a PNP or a labor right, while they're talking, it'll be a riot downtown. But they look at the people who round the president. Even though these people are Jamaicans, labor right and PNP, some people don't vote Rasta, Muslim, Christian, everybody there. There's no fight. Not even a windscreen mash. Not even a buckle broke. Because that energy that bounces off from Mr. Patterson bounces onto the people. Jamaica people are seeing hope for the first time. I want to be a part of that hope. Jamaica, there, I could see the people standing up, talking, just looking with pride. I said, oh my God. I could see the Jamaica people looking with pride. I said, this type of leader I want, some decency, some decorum, some calmness that reflect and bounce off on the people in the crowd. That's why none of these people in the crowd were boisterous against the police. Because of a reflection of Mr. Patterson. You know, I call nobody no drunkro and them, yeah. Just like from your boy till now, so PNP and Leo right politicians talk to each other. Hot-headed and hot up the people in mind around them. Hot up the supporters them, just riled up the crowd. That if Any police who should ever go up on stage and say them arrest PNP or labor right, while them attack, it wouldn't be normal. Because them hot up the crowd and the people them head hot. But under UIC, you are witnessing a different kind of leadership. Different kind of leadership. Not a leadership with the PA and nyam out the Jamaica. We want a leadership where put something in place so the people have to beg on a handout. Jamaicans, stop voting for handouts. We want a politician that puts something in a place so we don't have to beg no handout. Jamaica, one handout is like once every 4 or 5 years. We want a politician to put something in there. So we don't have to beg for no handouts, jobs, so Jamaica moving good. Now you set a good future for your kids and your grandkids. Give me some Patterson a chance, UIC a chance. And if they don't do good, we kick them out. We not play. Not because we support them, but then again, we say your loyalty should be to the what? Country. So, but you have to give them a chance to see what they can do. You can't say me not trust them, but you never give them a chance. You can't say them new, but you never give them a chance. You can't say the whole of them a thief. No, you ain't seen them a thief, nothing from you yet. And some of you say, oh, now go vote. PNP, me vote for PNP and Labour. Me never, some people say, me never vote again. You know all them? I Labour right them, you know. Enough Liberators say they will never vote again. What they're saying before they vote for the UIC, they'll rather not vote. That's what I mean. Before you'll vote for the UIC, you'll rather not vote. Give them a chance, people. Give the party a chance who's going to open up the border so we in the diaspora can come home. Jamaicans, if this happen, would be such a blessing to you guys. The jobs will be in Jamaica. Like, no. Mr. Patterson know what I do. Am I an idiot? Mr. Patterson know what he's doing. Am I an idiot? Who will create the job for now? Make that happen and see who create the job for you guys. You think China create the job yet? Make this happen and see who's going to be a boss. Another Jamaican. We going to come down here and we're going to make that happen and see what happen. Open the ports. We could bring our equipment. Tax free. I'll give the government, I'll give you a chance to come home. Come home, Jamaicans. Come home. Anywhere in the world. The port is free. Come on, bring anything you have, the equipment to the factory. Because he wants you to set it up right in Jamaica. And with a knowledge like that and a mindset like that, Jamaica is only going to go up from there. So, UIC, we say, put your UIC, the trust plan UIC, manners and respect. Go up on the page. I mean, we still have diaspora for the UIC. I'm going to share it on my page. Get the word out there because what? The campaign start on my page. As a matter of fact, the campaign been started on my page the first time UIC come on my page. I don't know that. I don't know every day we talk about the UIC. We even beat them up. No, me beat the UIC with 2x4, you know. Oh yeah, me have the video them out. Me beat the UIC with 2x4. Yeah, me no bias. Ask them if they don't come in my office before. Me put Mr. Pattis across my lap before and whoop him. Ask him if he don't put him across my lap before. Because it's about the country, people. Me no bias, man. And me see I move a certain way, me I come out upon them too. We think the UIC is exempt from my 2x4 because me support them? No, come in a bias. They know that too. They know that Carlos cannot be pet. They know that Carlos cannot be tamed. They know that. They know that. That's so if you go. So that's why politicians do them work and they put them peace and cues for us. Because it's about the country and not about them. Me don't know my allegiance to Devon. I'm Mr. Patterson and the UIC. My allegiance is to the country. Jamaica. That's what my allegiance is all about. That means that any party come hurt the country. It could be PNP, JLP, UIC. Any one of these people come in and hurt the people in the country. They need to go. Just like how Brogard and the minions need to go. Just like how the PNP and the minions need to go. Before we let people, may I ask a question that they didn't ask him. What else do you want the PNP and the Labour to feel? Tell me. Can I laugh after when we ask a question and they say, we look dumb? Just ask yourself the question. Can we look so dumb? What else do you expect of the PNP and the Labour and the Labour? Think about it. May I ask a question that made us feel dumb? Let's ask the question. How we get caught up in this so many years? How we allow ourselves, PNP and Labour, to trick you over the years? I know it's 2021 and we have a third party, but we still expect something different from the PNP and the Labour, right? So we're not going to try something new. We expect PNP and Labour to do something so different. What they're not doing in how much years? So we're not going to try something new. Use your brain. Use your brain. We love the people. Have a wonderful day. UIC, me say, is only help for Jamaica. Because the PNP and Labour, they're about a crooked politician. So look on Royal Reid. When I read Royal Reid story, look on Royal Reid. Look at all them corruption. They look on Royal Reid. You think under the UIC, yo, brother, man, that got jail under UIC. Under UIC, your current politician that is sitting in office right now wouldn't be qualified to run. Under the UIC, there are politicians who's your elected official in PNP and Labour, right? They wouldn't be qualified under the UIC.
UIC. Freedom and people of need. Hell yeah. Freedom and people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom and people of want. Freedom and people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom and people of want. Freedom and people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom and people of want. Freedom and people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. That when you free up the people, levitate. Jamaica member, you ever great. I feel burn up the fire upon every snake. Me give thanks in every way. God still a look down once see we safe. UIC run the road long time. GLP and PMP I sell we out. Till I do the test even though we know the end result. If them coulda kill with them catch we and hang we know. No force no coercion me freedom in a step. No one fi rob we and kill we and feel them I go make it out. You know see the leeches. You know see the hands of the devil when him sleep with. You know see the leeches. You know see the hands of the devil when him sleep with. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Yeah, me drop the braffin now, and then I laughing now. What them talking about? Everything cement and we not talking growth. Jamaican intellectuals are marching now. Them couldn't get the last laugh, no them laughing loud. We don't need the small talk when we talking bro. We don't need them 5 grand, we need to part them now. Long time GLP and PMP I sell we out. Till I do the test even though we know the end result. If them coulda kill with them catch we and hang we know. No force no coercion, me freedom in a step. No one fi rob we and kill we and feel them I go make it out. You know see the leeches, you know see the hands of the devil when him sleep with. You know see the leeches, you know see the hands of the devil when him sleep with. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. This is Marcia Weeks, and you are watching the Marcia Weeks show. So great to be here with you again. I see people are logging on already. Oh, wow. Oh, Melissa. Oh, great to have you, Melissa. How was your week? How was your week? Please share. I know Saturday people are out doing their shopping and taking care, and we just want people to take care of themselves and be careful out there today. as we're, all trying here to make sure that we protect ourselves from that virus. Yes. So welcome, Melissa. Welcome. And I'm going to ask you to share. Please share. And today I'm going to have my husband with me today again. I'm excited. I'm excited. Dave is going to be with me again. And we are going to talk a bit about what is behind this pandemic. All right. Hey, Johnson from Brooklyn. I remember you from last week. Last week's show was so amazing. Last week, Saturday, as we talked about technology. So I'm going to, Dave is right here. Hey, Dave. Good morning. Hey. Good morning. Yes, it went well. Okay, you had a good week, Melissa. And you're working from home now. Yes, well, I've been working from home for a little bit. And it takes some getting used to. But I it's important. We have to protect ourselves and do all that we can do all that. Listen, I have a story to tell you guys of a woman. She's over 90 years old and who caught the COVID virus, and through she didn't even go to the doctor. She didn't even go to the, believe it or not, didn't go to the doctor, but there's a product that is out there that I'm going to talk to you about this morning that she was able to use and was, recovered, and doing well. Guys, please share. Dave, are you there? Are you ready?
I'm here. I'm right here, live and in color, in my dark skin color.
Yes, it's so good to have you again this week with me on this
Good
week.
to be here.
Yes, and I've gotten so many calls about the show last week that you did, and as you talked about the Tower of Babel, and a lot of people didn't understand with the languages and understanding the computer languages. And how the similarities with that, and what the plan of what they're planning for us right now. Can you just do a little recap of last week's show? Just take a couple minutes and give us a summary.
Okay. Well, what we looked at was the whole concept of data and the importance of data in the future world. The whole concept of data mining and gathering as much information as possible to run these programs. So the programs need data, and once they can mine that data from your lifestyle, the things that you do on a daily basis that you don't really think about are so mundane to you, but to them it's precious. Then they have the foundation on which they can do whatever they choose to do. Once they have the mechanism now to tap into that data, and once there's a way that they can control you using the data, then they've gone to town. They're good to go. So that's the plan. That's where the world is headed, in terms of the ability to manipulate our daily activities. That's pretty much an established fact. To be able to control the population of the world, the size of the world population, to be able to manipulate the resources of the world. Since that program, I saw another bit of information about the manipulation of crops crops, so that they are able to go into the DNA of crops of plants and fruits and various vegetables and manipulate the crops. And I was so upset that they're able to do that in a negative way. And I guess for another program, and they said that there's a whole stream of DNA manipulation against Black people, which we know is nothing new. That's happened so many times, but that's a whole other program. But the essence of what I was trying to get over is that the QR code is a doorway into gathering into giving them access to your life. It's a doorway, it's a mechanism, and they're going to develop that further and further. until they achieve their objectives, pretty much.
Yes, yes. And can you talk about one more time about that Tower of Babel,
Oh
and
yeah.
in a nutshell, give us
Yeah, if you remember the story of the Tower of Babel, where the people of that time were so engrossed in themselves, they were so, they believed in themselves, they believed that they were it, and therefore they wanted to build this monument in honor of themselves and to give themselves more, make themselves famous and to make a name for themselves, and that displeased God, and they decided to build this huge tower, and they said to this into the skies. But what God did, well, God is so smart. God knew that the essence of it all was communication. They had to be able to communicate to do that. Whatever mechanisms they had in those days, which was language. They didn't
mm-hmm,
have any computers or any Wi-Fi, so their communication was strictly language. So
mm-hmm,
God messed up the language, so that they couldn't understand each other, and that messed up the progress. So I was saying that um, today communication is still the linchpin, is the key to
mm-hmm,
achieving anything. We depend on communication more now than anything else. For us to be on this call, on this StreamYard call, is communication, so that when I speak, you can hear me wherever in the world you are, and that's communication. It's using networks, and I was saying that it is easy. It's easy for God to mess up the networks.
mm-hmm,
It's easy for God to mess up the networks. You know what happened when a flow cable under the sea breaks. We've experienced that when the flow cables under the ocean is damaged by a ship or by whatever. We all know what happened when the monkey damaged the light and power cable. I mean, it's so very, our technology is very fragile, very very fragile. It's not robust, and therefore it's not a big deal for God to confuse our communications. So there's no need to fear. Um, we just have to trust God and do what we are supposed to do, and be faithful to Him, and He'll be faithful to us as
mm-hmm,
well.
mm-hmm. Yes, and as you're talking about that, Dave, I remember what the plans of the World Economic Forum is that by 2023, what they plan to, 2030,
2030.
2030, I'm sorry, 2030, the plans that they have, where they say that we will own nothing and we'll be happy. So they want to
Mhm.
completely change the world. They want to, their plan really is to, as they say, is to reset the world. And so they are now taking everything in their own hands as though they created it. And
Mhm.
they are
Mhm.
saying that we need a reset. And
Mhm.
one of the ways that they're planning to do this is through what they're calling, climate change,
Mhm.
climate control. And we know that we just had the summit, which I want us to look at, the summit in Glasgow, where majority of the nations were present. Dave, I'm not sure if you saw that, where the UN climate change conference was in Glasgow. And this
Mhm.
is just a picture of it, of all the various countries, almost every country in the world represented there, right?
Mhm.
And there were some topics that they touched on. In fact, it's saying here that over 120 countries gathered for the summit, right? This is what the United Nations Secretary General said, right? And so they came together and they were discussing many things. And here, this is a picture of Biden calling for tougher action on emissions and he promises job gains worldwide. Well, that's what he's saying. And there are lots of things that they agreed on in that summit. And somebody looking at it, and it looks our own Prime Minister Mia Mottley, she spoke at that conference as well. We can see where the Prime Minister of Jamaica was there as well. And here is what I'm looking for. These are the main points of this summit. One is that they're saying we're digging our own graves with the planet in peril. Leaders appeal for urgent action. Biden calls for tougher action on emissions and promises job gains worldwide. U.S. officials assail an absent China as the summit kicks off. So apparently China wasn't there. Narendra Modi says India will sharply increase renewable energy. The UN leader warns that the world faces a climate catastrophe. From the Amazon to Glasgow, an indigenous activist says we have no more time. Tiny island nations most at risk from warming rebuke big countries that could decide their fate. And Greta Thunberg joins a protest in Glasgow. So these are some of the highlights from that summit. And the thing is, Dave, that one of the things that we're not going to see there, which we're going to discuss on this program, it's about population control.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Hammer Films from Antigua. That's my great friend from Antigua, another filmmaker. And, we're seeing our, I'm getting a feedback. I don't know if Dave could turn, yes, right. So what I'm seeing is that our leaders, they're all congregating, they all went to this thing and this conference, and I'm sitting waiting to see what is going to happen. Because there is a direct link, guys, with this whole issue and concern about climate change and climate control with population control. And this is what we have to understand. There is a connection with the whole climate control, population control, and COVID-19. And that's what we want to discuss today. And you know what? We have the link out there, and you are free to come in. You're free to come into the studio and let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation because it is very, very important. I don't know, Dave, did you see there was a video with the famous Bill Gates, that has been going around, something that was done many, many years ago, and he outlined really what it would take for there to be population control. I don't know, did you see that video, Dave?
No, I don't think I saw that one.
Yes, but I'm going to share something from him this morning as well. But this is an important topic. This topic this morning is extremely important because we're seeing that our leaders are, so it's, as I said, they're puppets. Whatever is happening globally, they're no longer governing their nations. And we just have to take a look at what is happening in the world, and we recognize what is causing that kind of behavior for them to behave in a group. Basically, is what they're doing. They're behaving in a group. Yeah. So in the meantime, Dave, any comments about that?
Yeah, don't forget if we go back to our own African history, remember the Berlin Conference, how Europe came together as a group, and they decided as a group how they're going to divide Africa and split Africa into the different countries that we know today. And that was done not by one single individual, but by the European leaders all coming together in a similar fashion. So there's always a singular motive that stimulates these unified actions. And in that case, it was wealth. It was the exploitation of the continent of Africa. And why would we think that anything has changed since then? Nothing has changed. So those underlying motivations are still continuing today. And as you delve further into what we are seeing, we're going to be looking for those motivations and trying to thwart them this time, and not allow ourselves to be caught. Like how back then, I guess we weren't aware, we weren't conscious that these sinister motives were even possible. You didn't even think that people would go to a conference and plan on how to exploit a whole continent. We couldn't even conceive of that notion. But now we know it's possible. Now we know all the wicked things that were done, the experiments that were done. So it's very clear that leaders are not really, they don't really care about the people, about the masses. It's clear, it's been established that there's not a whole lot of care about the average human being. Humanity, they talk about humanity, but it's out one mouth, and then on another side they say that the actions are so different. So, we need to learn from history. We need to learn from what happened in the past and be able to be prepared and ready to counter the things that they're planning. Obviously, the bad thing about it is that it's all under the surface. It's all under the surface. They're not going to come out and say, well, we are going to decrease the population of the world by X billion. They're not going to come and say, well, we are wiping out 50% of the Caribbean. We're going to wipe out 60% of Africa. We're going to wipe. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to use seemingly innocent methods and strategies, but we have to look deeper than the surface to see what is really the motivation and what they really want to do, what they're really planning. And there are organizations that are seeking to counter what they're doing. So we just have to tap into these things and understand and try to do what we can, to put up that resistance.
Correct. And I'm actually, as you're talking, I'm really here. I'm trying to find back my space, the document that I want to share, because that document is very, very, very important. And I got caught up in what you were saying, because, and I'm seeing here, Hammer Films is saying, if they could come together to carve up Africa, we must know that anything is possible. Correct, right? And that is what they did. They carved up Africa. I love how you said that, because that's exactly what they did, and so it's very, very possible. The article is coming right up now, and it should be right here. Okay, here we go again. And this article from the Center for Biological Diversity talks about human population growth and climate change. Now, we might hear a lot where, they're saying that, okay, we are going to have to, we're going to go green. So, just before the pandemic, we were asked to stop using plastic, and all the different things that we were asked to do, we have to recycle and so on. But what a lot of people don't know is that one of the objectives, of this whole climate change and climate control is, is population control. That is, they are putting this as one of the ways that we can control this climate change, or we can achieve climate control. It is through depopulation. It's through less people living on planet Earth. Okay, so this article says the largest threat to ecology and biodiversity of the planet in the decades to come will be global climate disruption due to buildup of human-generated greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. People around the world are beginning to address the problem by reducing their carbon footprint through less consumption and better technology. But unsustainable human population growth can overwhelm those efforts, leading us to conclude that we not only need smaller footprints, but fewer feet. You heard that? We not only need smaller footprints, but fewer feet. So there is that notion there that as much as we're going to, all the efforts that we're going to do to reduce the carbon footprint through less consumption and better technology, that ultimately we really need fewer feet. We need less people, right? And the study goes on, and you can take a screenshot of this, and find it and take a read of this yourself, because I've been hearing about climate change, climate control, and at no point did I ever think that this would be connected to having less people on the earth, right? One of the study's author, Paul Murtaugh, warned that in discussions about climate change, we tend to focus on carbon emissions of an individual over his or her lifetime. Those are important, he says, important issues, and it's essential that they should be considered. But an added challenge facing us is continuing population growth and increasing global consumption of resources. He says the challenge is the continuing population growth and increasing global consumption of resources. Future growth amplifies the consequences of people's reproductive choices today, the same way that compound interest applies to a bank balance. Dave, were you ever, I mean, in all of the promotion and everything that they had to say to us about, climate change and climate control and going green, did you ever hear about depopulation?
Never, never. It was not on the surface, of course, and it sounds so good. And they're pumping so many millions of dollars into this climate change. So many summits and meetings about climate change, and we would think that they're really talking about climate change, and that was it, But as you dig deeper, there is ulterior motives, and someone like Bill Gates, who is so much into the same topic. He's known as eugenicist. He's established that his modus operandi is about population control, and that's why he's poured so much millions of dollars into this whole concept, this whole thing. And if I would read the definition of eugenics, it says it's the pseudoscience of trying to improve the population by preventing people thought to have inferior genes from having children. Right? The pseudoscience of trying to improve the population, right? By preventing people thought to have inferior genes, right? From having children. And who in the world are thought to have inferior genes than Black people?
Wow.
So we're a target. So guys, we have a lot of work to do. As I said last week, our ancestors went through too much for us to have to go through the same thing all over again. So yes, Marcia, as I'm thankful to you for opening up this Pandora box, and helping us to see this whole climate change and climate control concept and philosophy through different lenses. If I can share one of our family jokes with the people. You see those glasses she's wearing there, guys? I woke up early in the morning, and we wake up early to pray. And I woke up early in the morning, it was dark, and I stumbled and picked up a pair of glasses, and I put them on. I went to read the stuff on my phone. I said, but I'm not seeing properly. I said, I got so concerned. I got really, really concerned. Oh gosh, my eyesight is getting worse. I got to go to the optician and see what's happening to my eyes. And I was really, really, really concerned. I said, God, no, And then I got up, went to the bathroom, had to turn on the light. When I looked, it was Marcia's glasses I was wearing. And of course, it wouldn't work because I was looking through the wrong lenses. When I got my glasses, I said, oh, everything is fine. Thank God, I'm good. So we have to pick up the right lenses and look at what the information is before us through the right lenses. If we continue to use those colonial lenses that we've been trained to work with, to look through, then we're always going to pick up the wrong information. We're always going to have the wrong allegiances. We're always going to be following and trying to play catch up and playing master and servant in a world that really does not have our best interests at heart. So we really have to pick up the right lenses, and thanks to this program that Marcia is hosting, that's helping us to shift, to change our lenses, pick the right lenses so you won't stumble around in the dark, so you can see properly. So yes, Marcia, I think I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I'm looking at an article here, and it's by Nicole Martellaro, and this is something that I'm seeing on CBC, actually, CBS, right? And it was since 2019, October 31st, 2019, and I'm not in a position to show it to you, but I can read some of the excerpts from it, and it says that some people believe that the world is too crowded and keeping a lid on population growth could be an answer to battling climate change. Let me read that again. Some people believe that the world is too crowded and keeping a lid on population growth could be an answer to battling climate change. Right? This is what the experts are saying. Climate change, you're saying, has taken global center stage in recent months, following 3 reports by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that paint a dire picture of the future should governments fail to take action on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which is why they had that summit in Glasgow, that conference in Glasgow, where 120 nations, attended, and they were talking about climate change. And one of the things, as we're saying, is that one of their objective is dealing with population growth, because they believe, this is a belief of these people, that many of these experts, that this is really the true way that you're going to get the climate change under control. The argument is that if there were fewer people on planet Earth, greenhouse gases would be reduced and climate change could be averted. Right? These are the things that they believe, right? And what they're looking at, and I'm so sorry I can't show you this graph this morning, but they're showing you that between 1804 to 1927, it really took 123 years for there to be any great change in the Earth's population. So we moved from 1 billion to 2 billion people over 123 years, right? But between 1927 to 2011, you know what? We moved from 2 billion to 7 billion people on planet Earth. And so this is really what is troubling for them. And they are believing, you see, they're not playing God. They're believing that the way they have to save the Earth, and the way that they save the Earth is to reduce the population. Right? That is the thinking, that the way that we're going to save the Earth is to reduce the population. Now, what they said is that the global birth rates are declining. So if the global birth rates are declining, what is causing our population growth rate to be increasing if the global birth rates are declining? The United Nations had previously projected that the global population would reach 11.2 billion by 2100. However, the United Nations, so that's what they're saying, that we're going to reach to 11.2 billion by 2100, right? And they're saying fertility rates are dropping for the most part worldwide. In fact, you have even young people who are making decisions. There is this called a draconian pledge that is made by some of our young people, saying that, listen, in order for us to save the planet, we're not going to have children. This is the thinking. We're not even going to have children because we need to save the planet, right? That is the thinking that is out there. And so though global population has been rising steadily, birth rates are declining in many parts of the world, right? China's 1/3 policy was introduced in 1979 but lifted in 2015. Interestingly, though, their birth rate didn't climb after the end of that policy. It has remained steady at roughly 1.7. The other thing they said to take into consideration about growing population is that the issue isn't so much about birth, but rather about dying. This is a point that I want us to get at today, that they have concluded that they cannot control the population. Okay, that it's not about the birth rate, it's about the death rate, because people are not dying as fast as they think that they should die, right? Today, people are living longer, all right? And I want you to think about when the coronavirus first came in, what did they say? They said that according to Fauci and all of them, that it was really directed, towards the elderly. The elderly would have been, the most at risk, is what they said, right? And so you really have to wonder, right? Wonder what is really happening. What is really happening? And I have a video here from Bill Gates, and he is asked. They ask him, does saving more lives lead to overpopulation? So just listen to what he has to say.
In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth, and we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year. And it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down. And so we can feel great about saving those lives.
Now, I shared. Can you hear me? I shared that that clip with you because I wanted you to see that population control is on the mind.
Helped usher in the digital revolution at Microsoft.
Okay, I feel like I'm stuck.
Investing in innovative solutions to some of the world's toughest problems: global poverty,
Something
disease,
else is
and the coronavirus
playing.
pandemic, which he spent nearly $2 billion on. Now he's focusing on climate change, agreeing with the overwhelming majority of scientists who warn of a looming climate disaster.
Get that stopped.
The good news is Gates believes it's possible to prevent a catastrophic rise in temperature.
Okay, all right. I think we're sorted out. Sorry about that. The point I'm trying to make is how this issue of population control is on the minds of these people. That is the point I'm trying to make. And so when people start to speak about these things, we're told it's conspiracy theory, right? It's conspiracy theory. Nobody wants to control the population. Nobody wants to depopulate the earth. But this is a concern for them, Dave, any thoughts about that?
Yes. As you said, it is foremost on their minds, right? And it is all in the name of quality of life. As the eugenicist says, the same Bill Gates is a known eugenicist. That's a fact. And his father was. It's a history. It's in their family history where their focus in life is on population control and the whole concept of inferior genes. You know, you have to be skeptical. You have to take everything they say with a pinch of salt because of that underlying devious and negative and disturbing concept of categorizing people based on inferior genes. That's very that's very low. If we believe in humanity, we either believe in humanity or we don't believe in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept of getting rid of people with inferior genes, there's no such thing as an inferior gene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then, again, it all depends on the lens that you look through. All depends on what lens you're looking through. They are the rich and the famous, and they are. If it was that the average man on the street was saying this, then okay, well, all of us are concerned with population control, but it's not us who are concerned, but it's the elite. It's the ones who have the majority of the world's wealth, and they're the ones who are focused on population control. Why? Because it's simple. We've seen these things before. They don't want to continue the donations and having to take care of the poor countries, the poor nations. I mean, look at Africa. They really would love to get rid of all the Africans. And there's a show I know you want to do where it's a fact that the majority of the resources of the world lie in Africa: the gold, the gems, the minerals, the natural metals are found in Africa. Why is Africa one of the poorest places in the world? Because they rape the continent. They rape the continent and take all the good stuff out of Africa. They take the raw materials, they add value to them. The value add chain doesn't happen in Africa. The value add chain happens in Europe and the US. The cocoa, all the chocolate, Hershey's, Cadbury, those cocoa beans come from Africa. And then they add the value in the UK and the US and the Europe, and then they send those things back to us at marked up prices. So that's their objective, to be able to continue to amass wealth, right? And then get rid of the chaff of the world, the ones that don't add much value, that we have to feed. They don't want to have to feed certain countries and certain populations. Get rid of the poor in India. Get rid of the poor in Pakistan. Get rid of the poor in the Caribbean. Get rid of the poor in Africa. Get rid of them. Reduce the population by a few billion so that just the creme de la creme are left. The creme de la creme are left to enjoy the planet. And that's what they want.
You see, Dave, that's part of their what they call the reset. That is the reset. Yes. And this is what the World Economic Forum, that's why they're also pushing the climate change, this whole climate control. They're pushing that. And we need people to understand that one of their objectives is population control. It is, because there is a big concern of them that they could do all of these. We could recycle all that we want. We could control emissions. We could do all of that, but they truly believe that it's not enough, that there are too many people on planet Earth. And so we have to be very, very wary. And I'm concerned about our Caribbean leaders. I'm concerned about them, Dave, because I don't know when they go to these summits and conferences and feel that it is, they're taking these pictures with these people and feeling so important. What are they signing on to? What are they signing us up for here in the Caribbean? It makes me wonder. because it is definitely, all we have to do is do a little research, and we are going to be able to see that it is part of part of the plan. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, population control.
Well, let me ask a question. When there's a problem, what you do is you throw the competition to the people. It says, okay, we have a problem here. Can you guys give a suggestion on how we solve it? Nobody came to the people and asked the people, how do you think we can manage the world population? How do you think we can manage the resources? There could have been a competition. There could have been, every country could have had some kind of pooling of ideas, forums where the masses get a chance to say what should happen. No, you never heard of anything of that. The leaders, go off in the corner and they make the decisions for the rest of us.
Yeah.
And we are supposed to follow them. No.
But
sounds fishy.
Yeah. And the thing is, guys, is that they have realized that the birth rate is reducing. We're not having children the way that we normally have children. Everybody knows that. So the birth rate is reducing. So how else are you going to control the population growth? How else? It has to be the death rate. It has to be the death rate. How else? And they have recognized that people are not dying as fast as they used to die, right? So how else are they going to control it? I don't know if anybody wants to chime in on that. How are they planning to do it if they can't? If already the birth rate isn't climbing, right? The fertility rate isn't climbing. So in what other ways are we then going to control the population on the earth? And if you're telling me that this is linked to climate control, what are we going to do? And this is the way of the future. Going green is the way of the future. Climate control, climate change, all of this is the way of the future. So what's the plan here? I see Bernard, I have a video here to play, but I see Bernard Pula is saying here that I wonder if the governments have raided the social security funds and can no longer meet pension liability to the aging population. It may therefore be best to get them out of the way. we don't know. It might work in they might believe that works in their favor, right? Yeah. So let's listen to this video here from Bill Gates talking about what could cause in a single year an excess of 10 million deaths. Remember, we're talking here about population control.
The things that are out there, what could cause an excess in a single year of 10 million deaths? Now, clearly a big war could, and a pandemic, natural or created by bioterror. The natural pandemic, the last gigantic one, was 100 years ago. We are healthier today, but the speed of travel, and therefore the speed of global spread, that works against us. But in some ways, the bioterror thing scares me the most. All it takes is one small terrorism group. Those groups have used things like anthrax that are non-human to human transmissible, and as yet, thank goodness, they've never been able to build or get their hands on a nuclear weapon.
Are you nervous about your own life and what could happen?
This thing will get a lot of countries before it gets the U.S., but even the U.S. has to think about its global health security. It's a government thing to decide, okay, this is a problem. How do you move resources around? How do you allocate the scarce supplies? When an epidemic hits, governments having been prepared in advance and going through simulations, that will help them make the decisions that are only in their hands.
Oh, wow. Dave, you heard that. You heard that. So they have already thought about how they could reduce this population. And he talks about simulations, and I'm going to play a video. This is one of those shows that you really have to sit, you have to listen. I'm going to show you one of those videos. Where he's actually, I'm showing where there was a simulation of the pandemic twice. of this very pandemic twice. Yeah. Any thoughts, Dave, on that video?
I want to see the video that you're showing now. I don't have anything to add on that. It's pretty clear, pretty explicit.
Wow. Token saying by getting rid of those they consider to be useless and are age. What is this? I can't need to put on my glasses. And are dependent on the state for survival. Okay. So they're getting rid of those that they considered are useless and dependent on the state for survival. If all you remember, the first place they wanted to test out the vaccine was where? Wasn't it Africa there?
Yes, it was. It was. That's the first place they wanted to go. But we said no. Token says, yes, get rid of all the Africans and steal the continent's riches for themselves. Sell us out, as was done before. That's what the leaders I want to do.
Okay, so here we come. We're coming now with that video.
On Friday, months before the pandemic was declared. On Friday, October 18, 2019, months before the pandemic was declared, a meeting was held at the Pierre Hotel in New York City for a select group of about 130 very important guests, including politicians and the world's most respected medics and pharmacists. The purpose of the meeting was to simulate the possible scenarios in the event of a global pandemic. This could be a coincidence, you might say. For this simulation, however, a coronavirus was used as an example. The simulation covered in detail how the coronavirus would develop and how they could only control this through the intensive collaboration of entire industries, governments, and government agencies. Once again, a new world order to save us from destruction. Does it surprise you when I tell you that this meeting, called Event 201, was organized by none other than the World Economic Forum, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and the Johns Hopkins Institute? This is not a conspiracy theory. Check the official website of Event 201 for yourself. Perhaps at this point, it will no longer surprise you that the German Robert Koch Institute, which like every national health institute in the world is closely linked to the WHO, which is funded by Bill Gates, created a similar simulation in 2012. As was the case during Event 201, the simulation assumed the coronavirus. This simulation assumed that in a Southeast Asian food market, a coronavirus would spread from animal to human. How coincidental, isn't it? In this simulation, it takes several weeks for the authorities to identify the virus, allowing it to spread worldwide. A simulation is made of the consecutive 3 years, in which there are lockdowns and economies are destroyed. But also the impact on society is simulated in all aspects, even the protest. I won't tire you with the details. In fact, you can download this analysis for yourself from the website of the German government.
Wow. So, isn't that interesting?
On Friday, October 18.
This is so very interesting that twice, not once, but twice, that there was a simulation of what we are facing today. Isn't that interesting, Dave?
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. And I saw a movie called Contagion. That was an exact replica of what we are seeing today. And that movie was made long before 2019. So they knew. They all knew. They all know what they're doing. It's all a plan. It's not coincidental. It's they know what they're doing. It's us. It's just us that are now catching up.
Yeah. and people want to, are quick to say that, it's conspiracy theory. But all of this, I've checked it out. you can go online and look for Event 201. This was in 2019, guys. And this was a simulation of what we are facing today. It's a simulation of this virus. And this was done in 2019. And it was organized by, listen, the World Economic Forum and Bill and Melinda Gates. Those names were called. And remember, the World Economic Forum, they have a mandate, they have a plan, they have an objective that by 2030 they're going to reset this entire world. And part of that reset is a depopulation of the earth, because these elites have decided that we have too many people on the earth, and we need to get rid of some of them so that we can have a pleasant earth, and that we can continue to live, and all will be well, as what they say, that we will be happy and we own nothing, right? So that is the plan. And this is why this was planned, guys. This was planned. This was not something that just occurred. This was planned, put together and planned, okay? And in Germany, they had many years before that. They also had that simulation in Germany. Yeah, guys, who are watching, did you know about these simulations? Did you know about the Event 201? Did you know about the Robert Bock University, where in Germany, where they had the other simulation? So we're planned. We're planned for, right there. We're planned for.
Yeah. Someone in the chat said that we are made in God's image, so none of us are inferior. So that whole concept is flawed. The whole premise on which everything is circulating is being done is flawed. That they are inferior genes, and if we are all made in God's images, none of us are flawed. None of us are less than the other. The whole concept of equality. So they're preaching equality through talking through their mouth about equality this and equality that, but at the back of their heart, in the back of their mind, or deep in their hearts, they really, really do believe that some are superior and some are inferior, and therefore there's no reason to allow them to lead us or to follow where they are trying to lead us, because we know that their motives are less than honorable. Their motives are way less than honorable.
Correct. And as I said, the concern that I have is it's really disheartening that we have not heard some of these things from our leaders, our Caribbean leaders. They are blindly, to me, just watching, they are blindly going ahead, and one has to wonder why. If we are average people and we can see the correlation, we can see, all you have to do, go on Google and type in Event 201, and you will see that this was something that was planned before, and it's happening to a T. Actually, the Robert Bock, their simulation talked about a lab in China, and it talks about every single thing that was in the media about COVID-19. Okay, it was talked about in that simulation. But here it is. We have our world leaders. They're rubbing shoulders with the top leaders at in Glasgow at this climate change summit, and we're thinking, oh, this is such an achievement. We have achieved, and all of these things that's happening. We have the Jamaican Prime Minister, the Bahamian Prime Minister. There was another picture. There's another picture of the Antiguan Prime Minister, who is the chair of CARICOM. So they have bought this thing hook, line, and sinker, and there doesn't seem like there's anybody dissenting among them. Nobody to pull them back. And we don't know. They're gone to these conferences, and when they come back, is this where all the mandates are not going to come out, because they have no signed on to what the World Economic Forum is doing and the plan for 2030. These are the concerns that I believe that a lot of us have. And tokens is saying they're only interested in the financial benefits to them. They don't care about the citizens at all. We are just the means to an end for them. Bernard Pula is asking, how do we stop the process here in the Caribbean? Can we control or influence our politicians, or is it already too late? What do you all think?
But Marcia, I mean, if you look back to our past Prime Minister, Ariel Walton Barrow, when he made the statement and he acted on it, that we will be friends of all, but satellites of none. And that's exactly the opposite of what we're saying. Our leaders today are satellites of those. They go to these conferences and they literally echo what the conferences are saying. They're not challenging in any meaningful way what they are trying to do. We've become satellites. We've become whatever the big nations say, we just do it. We just fall over, bend over, and we do what they say. So that kind of leadership, we don't have that. We're not seeing it anymore. And even those in Africa, and the guy in Haiti who stood up and says, no, we're not taking the vaccines, and as you see what happened to him, so there's a price to pay, and the question is, are our leaders willing to pay the price to be counted, to do what's right, to do what's just? That's the question to be asked.
Yes, most definitely. This, I believe all of this is leading. There is a plan, obviously, and it's leading to the total domination of people, control of people, and we're seeing it played out in Australia. And this is a video that has been going around on WhatsApp by a pastor in Australia that made the video. And, I want us to, those of you who are listening, to comment on the video. I'm sure some of you might have already seen it. But I believe that this is really where we're heading. I really believe that.
Which people are controlled, first of all, frighten people, and secondly, demoralize them. An educated, healthy, and confident nation is harder to govern. And I think there's an element in the thinking of some people. We don't want people to be educated, healthy, and confident because they would get out of control. The top 1% of the world's population own 80% of the world's wealth. It's incredible that people put up with it, but they're poor, they're demoralized, they're frightened, and therefore they think perhaps the safest thing to do is take orders and hope for.
Yeah. That control, it's not the video that I wanted. I will find that one with an Australian that definitely doesn't have an Australian accent, but the whole thing is about we're going towards control. And that is really, really what is happening, with our people. Andrew Simpson says, Dave, what major issues do you suggest Caribbean leaders discuss and conduct preemptive planning now? I don't know if you understand the question, Dave.
Yes. What major issues do you suggest Caribbean leaders discuss and conduct preemptive planning now? There are a lot of issues that Caribbean leaders can discuss. The issue of the power that and the wealth that lies in Africa. The issue of relinking back to Africa, for the simple reason that that's where the resources of the world is coming from. There's a lot of resources that sit in Africa. There is the market. There is a huge population in Africa. That if the Caribbean leaders were to focus on African unity, if the Caribbean leaders were to focus on relinking back to Africa, and if we were to form a union between the Caribbean and Africa, which actually has formed, there is the state of the African diaspora, which is the ECO6, which is recognizing the diaspora as the sixth region of Africa, if our leaders were to focus their attention there as opposed to on the Eurocentric, non-African leadership and forge a power base in that sphere of world thinking, then we could challenge. Because the numbers are in Africa, the resources are in Africa, the brains are in Africa. There's no such thing as an inferior gene. There's such quality in Africa. There's so much going on in Africa, and there's so much potential in the Caribbean. If we were to unite, if our leaders were to focus and not pay lip service to that unity, then we could be a bloc, could become a bloc that can challenge the world. And because of the resources in Africa that they need so badly, right? If you research, there's so much billions of dollars that are sent to France from Africa. One French leader said that if the resources that come from Africa to France were to stop, France would become a third world nation. So right now, Africa is pouring billions of dollars into the US, into Europe. Their museums are filled with African artifacts. There's so much dependency on Africa by the world and the world leaders that if we were to come together as an African bloc, the entire diaspora and Africa come together, there could be a whole change in philosophy. If we were to work as a community and be united, then things could change. But so far, our leaders have gone cap in hand back to the colonials, sitting with them and being influenced by them, by people who do not have our interests at heart. And that's the bottom line. They do not have our interests at heart, but yet we are very proud and happy to attend these summits. And we feel very proud to hold the hands and to be seen in shots with these world leaders who historically have not have the interests of the Caribbean at heart, and who certainly does not have Africa's interests at heart. So that's one thing I would say. I would suggest we can shift our attention in that direction, and maybe we will see some wonderful results, some great results.
Correct. Thank you, Dave. And I don't know, anybody else have any other suggestions? Listen, let's have a discussion here today, on what our Caribbean leaders, how they can plan for what is coming. I have another video here, and this might shed some light, and you can give your feedback on this on how to fight back. Okay, so let's watch this one.
I hope to reach you, to reduce the ever-increasing distance between us. Only when we are divided can the elite retain its power over us. The greatest fear of the elite is that we will realize what is really going on Earth. And the only way the elite thinks they can prevent this from happening is through censorship, preventing human contact, the incessant framing of political opponents and those who think differently, and the use of brute force. The plans of the elite are clear, and so is the ruthless way in which they want to accomplish them. If we allow this to happen, a new society will be built on the ashes of what we once knew. A new society in which we will own nothing, not even a home of our own. The elite wants to make sure that between now and 2030, everything you now own will be theirs. For this, a devastating economic crisis is necessary. First, the class is attacked, which is the backbone of society. Entrepreneurs are forced to go into tremendous debt, which will ultimately cause them to lose all their possessions. After that, things will move quickly. Banks will fall, cash money will cease to exist, and the only way not to starve to death will be the acceptance of government support, which will include several conditions, such as the vaccination passport and giving up all private possessions. Because the entrepreneurs are the first to fall, many others won't immediately feel the crisis. The people remain divided among themselves until it is too late. This is not a doomsday scenario that I've made up. This is simply the Great Reset, the New World Order, which has been prepared for many generations and which has been extensively tested in every communist dictatorship in the world. But this can also go a different direction, and instead of a great reset, we can cause a great awakening and create a world where no one has to go hungry, and where we can live in a sustainable way, in freedom with each other and with nature. This is not an idealistic daydream. There have always been forces that have sought to break the power of the elite, but until recently, our means of communication were always insufficient to get a mass network in motion. The elite have always kept us in ignorance about the discoveries of geniuses such as Tesla, who was far advanced in the field of clean, free energy, or Dr. Rife, who used radio waves to cure at least 16 terminal cancer patients before he, just as Tesla, died in a suspicious manner. Or Henry Ford, who in 1941 had already made a car out of bioplastic that proved stronger than steel. The elite have hidden countless such techniques from us because they form a threat to their monopolies in every industry. These were techniques that would have given us freedoms and put the elite's power at risk, which is based on our fear and dependence on their projects. These are not conspiracy theories, but facts. What I am saying is that a world of new possibilities is opening up for all of us, where there is no poverty, no pollution, diseases, or wars, and in which governments work for the welfare of the people rather than the other way around. Countless ailments that provide the pharma industry with hundreds of billions of dollars will be cured. No one will have to work their ass off to live a dignified life. People will no longer live in fear because of the lies of the media, the pharma industry, the climate lobbies, and politicians. It's all on the horizon, but we have to go through the storm first and recognize what the real problem is in our society. I want to thank you for listening to me, and I hope someday, in freedom, together we'll reflect back on this unique moment in history.
I was saying some interesting thoughts there. He said something that they use these 4 techniques here to push what it is that they want to push, the elites. Censorship, right? And the decrease in human contact, which is what is happening right now. Framing of those who think differently. You think differently and they put a label on you. And brute force, right? And he's saying that how we break it is that we start to come together. And I think that's what you were saying earlier, right, Dave?
Yes. Brute force, they have their techniques. And the whole thing is intimidation. Intimidation. Once they can intimidate you, then they have you in the corner. They have you on the bottom of their feet. And then they can do whatever they choose to do with you. But thank God, he also said that back in the day, that, and as I said that before, there are groups, there are agencies who are fighting this. But the problem back in the day was there wasn't the communication. Now we're able to communicate and link up and join each other and encourage each other and build. We have this interface now where we can see what we are all doing. And we have these videos and these clips, the TikToks and the WhatsApps that allow us to communicate. And therefore, we have that opportunity now to make a difference. Yeah.
Hammer Films. I'm looking for the comment she said earlier. She had a comment earlier. She's saying, which is why we have to have our own plan, right? The question is, do we have our own plan? What is the plan that we have? You know, are we going to push and come together? She's in Antigua, we're here in Barbados. People are watching from different places. Are we going to push past everything and come together? Is the thing, you know? If their intention is to depopulate the earth, you know, when you think about it, these are people just like us, you know, and believe that they have the power to put this world together that they want to, you know, that they want to live in.
Reset it.
They reset it.
To reset the world. It's not theirs. It's not their world. They want to reset it.
You know, they want to reset it. They want to reset it. But, you know, we just thought that I wanted us to continue looking beyond the pandemic and behind the pandemic and understand that this was a plan. They have a plan in place. I want you to understand that there's a connection between, climate change and climate control and depopulation of the earth and COVID-19, and that it's all come together. We see where Bill Gates was saying what was he saying? That, you know, one of the ways that you could get this done in a year, you could 10 million people. We could use 10 million people in a year. I've read the articles which would say that, guess what, the birth rate is decreasing, it's reducing. It's the death rate that is not reducing. So in order to one would conclude then that in order to control the population, that one would have to deal with the death rate. And it begs the question, is that what is happening now? Is that what we are using this time to do now? Is this what is happening in our time? And, I really think we did a show on Wednesday about coming off the grid, and we're getting a lot of calls about that as well. And so I'm thinking that we have to, as Hammer Films is saying from Antigua, we have to have our own plan. What is our own plan? Yeah.
And I just want to say, on the note of having our own plan, there is work being done. I want to as we get ready to go, I just wanted to leave people with this note, and you can go and do your research. There's a currency called the African Kingdom Lumi, which is a currency that is coming out of Jamaica, Maroon Town, the Maroons in Jamaica, and it's a worldwide currency. You can investigate it, and the idea is that we can have our own currency, and therefore unhitch from the US dollar, unhitch from that scenario, and create our own plan, our own economic enterprises, our own economic zone. The Eco 6 zone is the zone of the African Economic Zone, and that is another forum that is working, that is coming together. And we need to investigate, do our research, and as Hammer Film says, let's plan. Let's have something in place so that we are not left with nothing. So you can do the research on the African Kingdom Lumi and the Eco 6. These are things that are happening today, and that if you find that it's useful to you, get involved, so that we can have that plan and go forward from there.
Yeah. And I'm here actually trying my utmost best to show to everybody a drug that I have found in Barbados, and I'm trying to get it get it up on the screen, but I'm not successful. But if you could look at my phone, oh wow, it's not there anymore. Okay, so that's it. This drug on anybody knows of this? Okay, I'm so sorry. I tried to get it up on the screen and I'm not getting through. But this drug here, VIF 10. And and it's completely herbal. And what I'm hearing that this is the herbal version to the ivermectin, and this is in Barbados, right? This is in Barbados, the VIF10. And what I can say about this, I know of at least 3 families that were down with the coronavirus. And they use this drug, this herbal medicine was used, and in 24 hours, they were back on their feet. I know of personally, I spoke with someone this morning, and who's taking care of someone, and they're about 90 years old. And this person was, took it and was now up making tea. And that 90-year-old woman is doing quite good. So I always use a show to talk about any kind of remedies that's out there, and it's all herbal. And you, as far as I know, at the moment, you can get it at Amaze. I know people are buying it in the bottles. And the thing about this, some of these people, they're not even they're not even going they're treating themselves at home. They're treating themselves at home and getting better, so we have to have a plan. Somebody said, what is our plan? We're going to continue with some of these herbal stuff that we're doing, that we're working with, and continue to take care of ourselves. I don't know, Dave, you've heard about that drug?
Only in this last week. The first time I'm seeing it, I was actually looking for it on my computer to show. Only in this last week I've heard about it, but it's amazing what it's doing, and just go to show that the authorities, they're not really interested in helping the people. They're pushing an agenda. It's really an agenda, because that is something right here under our noses, and can heal people or resolve the issue in a few days. I mean, come on. We didn't have the people that died didn't have to die. They didn't have to die. A little bit of research could have provided these kind of solutions. And there are so many other solutions. We have so many remedies out there. The I word that you can't call, and the hydrochloric. There's so many remedies out there that it is obvious that there is an agenda, and people are choosing not to listen or to ignore the science. It's just obvious.
Correct. And somebody wanted to know the cost. You can check Amaze in Barbados. And if you're not in Barbados, you would just search for Dave. I sent it to you by the picture via WhatsApp. So let's see if you can probably share it. And share it in the using the, as we normally do when we're sharing, using the Chrome tab, and see if we'll be able to get that on the screen. I always want to share with you anything that I've found out. Seeing Sawick from Trinidad, Sawick Media from Trinidad, and the cost of it, I know for sure that it's over $63. Okay. It's a little bit more than that. I don't know the exact. Yes, this is it here. Thank you, Dave. This is it here. The VIF10, and you can take a picture of this. And I know that it's $60-something for it, Barbados dollars for it. And you can use it as a prophylactic. And you can use it while you, if you have contracted the virus, okay? So this is what I'm being told. A lot of people are buying bottles of this right now. and they have very limited supply. And you can call Amaze. Call Amaze in Barbados. I don't know if it's in other countries. This actually is from India, and you know, Dave, in India they now have the coronavirus is now under control. The pandemic is under control in a lot of the states in India. I don't know if it's all over India, but in a lot of the states in India. So we are lucky to have this here in Barbados. And I know that there are other persons apart from Amaze that will be carrying it as well. So you can check around for it.
And others can bring it in. If there are any persons here or importers, they can bring it in to help the people.
Yes, other importers can bring it in. Next week on Wednesday, I'm going to have a brother from Jamaica, and he is going to show us pictures of his home and how they live off the grid in Jamaica. So you saw what we did on Wednesday. We were looking at living off the grid here in Barbados, where Michelle Edwards from St. John, and she was showing you the pictures of how she does it. And we had some technical issues, but we're going to it's going to be up on our Facebook page. We've re-recorded it, and we're going to put it up on the Facebook page, and we have pieces that we're going to be sending out, small portions that you can pass on through WhatsApp and continue to send out the information. So that we're going to continue to do that. But we have someone from Jamaica on Wednesday, right? So Wednesday at 1 p.m. we will have someone from Jamaica, and he is going to talk about Ruel. His name is Ruel, and he's going to be talking about how he lives off the grid. And I'm excited about that, because we always have to figure out what is the plan. What is the plan? How are we going to move forward? All right. So that is important living off the grid. And this was Michelle Edwards on the Marcia Week show, and you are going to be able to see that before the end of the day. You will be able to see that on my Facebook page, and we will send it out to others as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Dave. Any final words that you want to share before we go?
Just for us to take charge of our own destiny, and not to depend on our leaders wholesale. Not that we don't depend on leadership. We do need leaders, but no longer can we depend on our leaders wholesale. But we also have to do our research. We have to investigate and find out what's going on up there, because we are Barbados in the Caribbean. We are a small dot, on the world scale. So there are things going on outside of Barbados and outside of Jamaica and the Caribbean that are a benefit that can help us. Not everything is bad. There are good things happening. You just have to tune into those good things and research them and forward. Again, there's stuff going on between the Caribbean and Africa, the diaspora in Africa. That's an area that we can look into and research what's happening in that sphere of the world. And there are things we can do. As Marcia says, let's work our work while we have the time to do it. That's my goal for the day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dave. And wherever we are in the world, let's continue to come together. Let's continue to have hope. Let's continue to have faith. Let's remove the fear, because that's one of the tactics that they're using, and decide that, listen, we're going to come together. We're going to work together. We're going to fight it. Let's fight back. All right. All right. God bless you all, and have a wonderful wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
UIC. Freedom of people of need. Hell yeah. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom of people of want. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom of people of want. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom of people of want. Freedom of people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. That when you free up the people, levitate. Jamaica member, you ever great. I feel burn up the fire upon every snake. Me give thanks in a